Good evening, everybody. I hope you are all settled. We're about to begin the show. I'm going to bring everybody down into chat, and then we will begin the live show.
He got given one.
These are... Oh, did he? He got given one, did he?
You know it.
Yep.
Welcome, everyone, to episode...
Having a
31.
chat. A private chat, yeah.
A private
an
chat?
A-B conversation, so see your way out of
You
it.
weren't welcome.
Yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff. Just a quick audio check, obviously. So if anyone is muted, please let me know. It's always the case. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been about a month, actually. Like I was just saying to Mac, it's been about a month since we had the show. So I could be a bit rusty. Things might not work. We have to dust off the desk and just
Yep.
Get going.
Yep. Test.
Thanks, Mac. Thanks. So, right. Well, it's been a month. Lots of things have happened. Some good, some stupid, which have been mentioned on other podcasts, which I have been on. What I was just saying to the guys before is I went on Captain's Table. I'm just going to get this shit, the salty shit out of the way. So I went on Captain's Table after the whole digital pass, all that bullshit that happened. Gave my piece on it, which was pretty brutal and pretty honest, how I felt, very emotional about it. And then I went away. A little quiet. Okay, I will audio boost you. Thank you.
All right, let's see how that listens.
Like that, I'll boost you up a bit. Go up a bit. It's always
That's
tricky.
better.
Yeah, that's
All right.
better. Good stuff. So yeah, I went away. I looked at myself. I had a moment of clarity, and I was like, "This has become far too. Like, why am I getting so upset about this? Do you know what I mean?" I was like, "It's just who gives a." Like, seriously, if I'm letting a computer game and development of a computer game getting to the point where I'm getting so pent up about it, and it's putting me in a bad place. I need to follow what Asnog's advice he gave me. He said, just back up and walk away for a bit and come back. And I was like, well, that's not really who I am, and I don't do that type of thing. But what I do need to do is do a rain check on it. And just the reality is it's a game. It's going to get made. It's going to either be shit or it's going to be great. It might be near, but generally it's going to be either one of those two. It'll be shit or great, because the reality is the promise is so great that if it doesn't deliver on certain things, it'll just be shit anyway. So it's going to be great or shit. And so I was like, let's just fuck it. We'll enjoy it whilst it comes. I'll just wait. I'll wait for my combat. Everybody knows the madness thinks the combat is... Everyone knows the score now, the combat shit. No point going on about it. Let's move forward past this absolute mess that happened. Hopefully CIG, I think they got the message. If they didn't, then I think they're a little bit crazy. I think they got the message. We can move past it. Let's move on to Citizencon, which I think will be a great show. Let's move on to 3.3. Let's move on to the end of the year, because we're going to have 3.3 and 3.4 pretty rapid, because what is it now? We're on the 10th. But Christmas is like, what, 2 months away?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have 3.3, and then literally be walking into 3.4 almost instantaneously if they stick to their schedule. So we're going to get a shit ton of stuff in before the end of the year out. So fingers crossed, it's going to be a new day. It's going to be awesome. Except because we spent a lot of money on this. Yeah, well, that as well.
Well, first of all, let me point out that Madness has finally moved on to like the 7th stage of grief. And loss,
Of grief. It is grief.
acceptance.
It is. I'm lit. You're absolutely
it's like
right.
Denial.
You're right.
Denial, bargaining.
Yeah.
Like last stage is like acceptance.
I think that's absolutely right. I think it is literally because it is that. I think it is like grief. When you've lost something as deeply as I enjoyed last year, which was combat and dogfighting.
Oh, we all did. We all did.
It's literally like losing something special beyond special. I can't tell people who don't do dogfighting, who don't find that interesting, how special that is to me, because, you know, I not only did I win a competition for that and form friends that I've had friends now for years because of that, and have great friends within the community in terms of dogfighters and stuff. So I'm feeling their pain, my pain. It's the fact that all of what we loved for over a year is now not with us in any form that's enjoyable, because that's ultimately what it is. I mean, you know, I talk to other people.
Going on.
We
can
also-
keep going on.
We could go on about it, but
Feel like
that's the feel.
You represent your community as well, and you feel like you're a voice for your
Yeah.
community. So you feel like you need to put your voice out more
Exactly, yeah.
for the sake of them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not healthy to get so
No.
annoyed and stressed about something, so let it go.
Blink twice if you've been forced to say this forbidden tick. Chris Roberts is behind me. He's dropped in. He's standing behind. He's standing behind me with a brand new PC. Keep going, man. Let's keep going.
Keep going. This Intel sponsorship could be yours. You just gotta say the right things in that microphone.
Chris Roberts out of shot. Okay, buddy. Okay, don't worry. Stand there with a shotgun. No, genuinely. I think that's kind of like I think if anyone that's like an emotional kind of person, such as I wear my heart generally on my sleeve and how I feel, I think sometimes I have to sometimes almost, as an extrovert, you tend to explode externally, and then eventually this is kind of like, okay, let's pick up the pieces. Am I wrong in many of the things I said? No, I think I'm still absolutely bang on with most of it. But the reality is my emotional outrage realistically going to do that much more good if I continue going on about it? Not really. Let's just move on.
It's the sort of there's a proper way to approach it, and there's the wrong way, isn't it? And approaching it with outrage
depends how you do it.
Best option.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was particularly bad about it.
Right?
Yeah, no, I didn't think it was particularly bad about it.
Holding on to that outrage, there was a good saying I got once from somebody. Holding on to anger like that is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's a great way to. It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. You're just hurting yourself at this point.
Inconceivable. So yes, no, for sure. It's for anyone that's over 30 probably understands that reference, by the way. I think most people under that would be like, what the hell is inconceivable? Why are you saying that? It's a little show called The Princess's Bride for anyone under 30. Very successful show.
One of my favorites. My parents, it was their favorite movie. It still is one of their top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Fantastic movie. Inconceivable.
Yeah, it is.
I can't remember what he says when he's at, because you're talking about poison, so I always remember poison. I think of when he has the drink. Yeah,
it was iocane powder. Yes, it's tasteless, smells, doesn't smell, and it's like he just like, and it was just like, oh, there's a spoiler there for like over 20-year-old movie.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up the sound on Mac and thingy. Okay, I'll bring them up a bit more. No problem. It's difficult.
No more rhymes now. I really mean it. Anybody want a peanut?
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen it. I have no idea what these references are.
You've never seen Princess's Bride?
Really too young.
You've never seen Princess?
But The Princess Bride, by the way, is a great date movie.
Yeah.
So if you want to sit down with the missus and watch something, and
as you wish,
maybe put on some pushing it.
Some
pushing it later.
Yes. Send me the link to that film.
He could be. He could. I will. I've already got it. I will send you. I'll send you the movie probably. Not that we're supporting piracy, but it's quite an old movie. It's free pretty much everywhere.
Say it was pirated.
It's not pirated. It's not. It's legitimate. I've owned it on VHS, DVD, HD, whatever the Blu-ray DVD, and I've had it downloaded. So I'm like, I've had it like I've bought it so many different ways, left, right, and Sunday. So I think I kind of pretty much own the privilege to be able to give it to everyone I fucking want, because I've bloody had it so many times. Like I said,
you get the champagne, get some oysters. Is that something the Brits believe, that oysters kind of loosen things up a little bit?
Oysters are good. Oysters give you supposedly more sperm.
We get some mussels from down the fish shop.
Yeah, they supposedly
get some fish and chips.
Get some fish and chips. This is going to be love. This is going to later on throwing up on her. It's not a good look. To be fair, oysters. That's the thing I've always found, is that oysters are like meant to be really good, obviously, to make you better in bed and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, if you get a bad oyster, bed is not going to be the greatest place to be in if you have a dodgy one.
Aphrodisiac until it comes out other ends.
Both ends. Oh, darling, I'm not feeling very well. It's all going a bit wrong. Very quickly. That would be an experience she would remember if it was a first or second date. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So when you can tell, by the way, anyone
just get your wife to watch The Princess Bride, and somehow this is where we got.
By the way, welcome to the Asylum. Like, this is literally this is what it is about. You've missed us. I know you've all missed us. I bet you've all missed us.
It's been a long 4 weeks, Madness. It's been a long 4 weeks.
You've all missed us. They're all like, oh my God, fantastic. Mondays is back to craziness again. Woohoo. No, it's great to be back. It really is good to be back. I mean, it's a lot of work. I have to say, I've enjoyed the 4 weeks of not having to do anything. It is a bit of a pain. I kind of started setting up and I was like, oh my God, I've forgotten how fucking long this shit takes to do. I was like, oh, can I not hire someone to do this for me? I was like, no, I can't do that. But it would be nice if I could hire someone to do it for me. But yes, it's great to be back. Miserable is currently in South Africa, feeling up some crocodiles and God knows what else, or being felt up by the African police from what I was reading earlier.
Something about his wallet.
Yeah, they want his wallet, that's for sure. Those dodgy African coppers. You were like, oh, it's going to cost you another £400 to cross the border, my friend. Yes, don't know why. So yes, exactly. Okay.
There's this permit you have to have. You see, it costs £400.
So did you say they take their wives? They take wives? Oh, great! That's a great place to take the wife, isn't it? Really, but like that. Okay. Yeah. See you later, buddy. Catch you later. Oh no! What happened? Sorry, I'm not promoting that anyone. Not promoting that to anybody to take their wife over to Africa because they take wives, but that's a terrible idea. So digressing off the topic of conversation. This just goes everywhere.
Can't help it.
Yeah, I know we can't.
We can't. Just can't.
It's like an old Ronnie Dangerfield. Take my wife, for example. No, really, take my wife.
So, what's happened then? So for you, because I've been playing it, but a little bit. I've been watching. Obviously, I've been watching streams. I've been kind of getting involved. I've been on a podcast. So I kind of know what's going on generally. But for you guys who've been kind of breathing it for the last month, how have you found Star Citizen? How have you found the last? You know, is it just been the same for a month? Nothing's changed. Have you felt any kind of movements and changes within what's going on? How have you found your week? Oh, by the way, if you want to, we don't need to introduce ourselves. Everyone should know who the fuck we are. I mean, Max streams all the time. HC streams all the time. Everyone knows who I am. We're not going to do intros. Everyone should know who we are. If you want to know intros, just say who the fuck are these idiots in the chat. But we should know who we are. That's it's all there. Enough. It's all there. So how have you found it? Just how have you found it? What's been good? All that stuff.
It's been all right. I've not played it a lot, but I played it today, and it was okay. There was a lot of issues, a lot of simple bugs that we've seen from a long while ago that are creeping back in again, like doors not closing. I think they're more just sort of desync issues, which I guess they're not really looking into that because object container streaming is a whole rewritten code. So it kind of pointless fixing old code when they're bringing in new code. So we're going to have to suffer through it for the next month, I guess. But in terms of content that we're getting, it's actually been really solid. All the shows we get really good questions, really good snippets of features, some nice sneak peeky stuff in the monthly report and whatnot. So overall, I'm really hyped. And I think with the way that the game, with the date now and the way that it's going to be released in October and then December, this last year, like you were saying earlier, is very exciting for me. And I think I'm in a sort of steady, constant state of hype. So for me, everything just looks golden.
Good.
But that's about it. Yeah.
Well, I have called you Indecisive Dave sometimes.
Yeah, no.
That is my running kind of joke for you. A little bit. Not all the time.
It's because it's like I'm able to see everyone's perspective on things because they're all quite valid. And I don't get me wrong, I have my opinion on things, but if someone offers me their opinion, I'm not gonna be like, "You're wrong, you lose it." I'll just respect it, But yeah, I go with the flow. That's pretty much how I roll.
For anyone that doesn't know what Indecisive Dave is, it was a British, again, show my age here, but it was a British comedy show called The Fast Show, and there was a guy who was always in the pub chatting to his mates, and whatever one of the mates would say, he would agree with, and whatever the other mate would say, he would agree with that person also, so he would be constantly in a flux. So one guy would be saying, who should we have in football team, who should we have in goal, and one person would say Seaman, and then he'd be like, yeah, Seaman's a good player, he should be in goal, and the other guy would say, nah, he's shit, and he'd be like, yeah, he's shit, mate, he's a terrible goalkeeper, we shouldn't have him in the team. And then the other guy, and then somebody else would say something, and it was that kind of that was thing. And Matt, you don't do it all the time. But just sometimes it's been quite humorous when I've caught you out and you've been like, I've seen you go, somebody says something negative and then you said anyway, that's just my thing. It makes me laugh. Yeah, well, but the thing is, it's like, you're right. You are the spokesman for all of these people's kind of opinions. So ultimately you are almost like, have to be neutral. You have to kind of, in a way, you have to facilitate their opinions. So I get it. I, on the other hand, am a complete asshole. So I generally just facilitate my own opinion and tell everyone to fuck off. But that's just me.
You're decisive, Dave.
Decisive Dave.
Rude people.
I was always told the key to flexibility is indecision. If you never make a decision, you'll be the most flexible.
The most liked person in the office, someone that doesn't make a decision. The most hated person is that asshole that makes everyone do stuff.
The boss.
The boss, pretty much. HC, so HC is the person that streams the most. Literally, I don't think anyone streams Star Citizen. I think you have the title. You must have the title in terms of hours per week. Gotta be up on that. I haven't looked at the Twitch stats to see who's actually puts the most amount in, but you've got to be up there as a top person, surely.
I'd have to look myself just to see. But yeah, I've been streaming Star Citizen pretty much every morning. We're currently turning the afternoon streams into some side projects like Dark Souls, just to keep my own sanity. And people are like, Dark Souls, Vertigo. Like, yes, Dark Souls. I love Dark Souls. And people are like, isn't that game supposed to be hard? Yeah. And then people are watching me beat bosses like on the first try. It's like I have like over 500 hours in the entire series, like Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. So
like
I'm not a stranger to difficult stuff.
Do you play games on like hard mode type thing? You go into a game and you're like, I'm going to play this on hard mode or very hard mode. I don't play this on normal.
It depends what kind of game it is. I really don't like games that have bullet spongy enemies. The one game that I ended up turning up recently that I did a complete playthrough of was Doom 2016. I did the second hardest mode. The hardest mode in Doom 2016 is once you die, it deletes your save and you have to start all the way over again from the very beginning. I'm not quite good enough to do Doom 2016 with that mode yet. But the one game I could not tolerate on hard mode was Borderlands. Because when you go into hard mode in Borderlands, everything just takes a million bullets. It feels you're throwing bullets forever at things to get them to die, and I just didn't have the patience.
That's when I played with a friend, because then you can double down on the damage. That's the way I used to do that.
It's the same with like the Division, though, isn't it? I stopped playing that because I didn't really play it much, but when characters are bullet sponges, it's just painful because my aim is shit, and it just gets frustrating.
Do you know what's interesting though, because we talk about that, and I'm going to bring it into Star Citizen, talking about bullet sponges. It's like I've found watching HC playing Star Marine, because you play everything, you play Star Marine. With the heavy armor, this is the meta that everyone's wearing because of the bullet sponge factor, the fact that they can eat up more damage without dying so quickly. And I'm kind of like, from what I was watching, it just looked a bit shit. Just because it was a bullet spongy. But can you still do the one shots? Can you, like, as a sniper, can you headshot somebody with heavy armor and get the one shot kill on them still? Or does it not do that anymore?
Only headshots, but because the desync is so bad, even in Star Marine, it's really hard to get headshots lined up. Mostly, like, the community is so fractured in Star Citizen, not just Star Marine, just in Star Citizen in general. It's hard to get any of the Arena Commander or Star Marine games going most days. And it's usually you have one choice. Yeah, you have one choice, Europe servers. That's because the Euros will usually start the day, and everybody joins on the Euro servers because they know that's where the games are, and they usually don't migrate over to the American servers until much later.
Okay.
So I usually have to tolerate like really bad pings for a little while.
Yeah.
But how's the because I mean we've spoken before, there's some serious bugs which obviously cause it to crash, a few of the maps to crash, which you've showed me before, which is crazy to think that you can still shoot you can shoot a watermelon. A watermelon
and it crashes to stuff. Yeah, they actually in one of the patches recently they removed a couple watermelons from the map, but they missed 2.
Someone goes watermelon hunting. Motherfucker.
Yeah, and then there's a grenade thing. There's a fire extinguisher on one of the maps as well. Something that you can blow up in the corner that kills the entire map for everybody, not just yourself.
Crashes everybody. And the sad part about that fire extinguisher, it's in what's called a grenade trap, where It's in an area where if you set yourself up, it's got nice little corners where you can hide behind and trade fire with people. You can duck out from behind the corners and shoot people, pew, 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 duck back behind the corners.
Right.
And then the counter for that is, of course, throwing a grenade at that corner.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that barrel is right next to that corner. So if you decide to play there, you're going to crash the server more likely than not because people just throw grenades at you.
If you're doing shit, though, and losing, you can just be like, screw
this
this
You can just say, screw it, exactly. You just run to it.
Just erase this game from a few
I'm erasing it. My stats, I'm on the leaderboard and my stats are being ruined. Yeah. No, I must end this game for everyone. But
I mean, or you could try extortion too. I've tried extortion. Send me $10 over PayPal, or I crash the game.
Probably not. That's probably not a good idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not that big of an asshole yet.
Children out there, people out there, do not attempt to repeat that action because you'll probably end up being banned.
When it comes to like bullet sponges and things, I think the intention is, if you've not got armor on, then you'll take maybe 2 or 3 hits. Depending on the medical system, you'll go down. I don't know if this is like Star Marine, but in the PU, then you'll need to get repaired depending on the type of damage you've taken.
Yeah.
If you're wearing armor, light armor will do so much protection, medium more, heavy the most. And I'm hoping to see sort of armor that protects against like distortion style weapons and things like that. That would be quite cool.
I want to see I want to see less than lethal weapons. But anyways, go back to Manada's original question about Star Marine and Technius. It depends on how the network feeling that day, what server you're on. Generally, your latency determines how bullet spongy some enemies can be. But I find that if you know what you're shooting at and you know where to hit enemies, you can kill them pretty rapidly if you know the optimal range to engage at. Headshots, there's some people out there who've managed to figure out how to get headshots. You get dropped in like 2 or 3 shots. It just basically looks like you get one-shotted by an assault rifle. But what ends up happening is, because of the desync, your opponent sees you for longer than you see them because of how the network code works, and it looks like they just one-shotted, but really they were shooting at you for like a half second.
Pissball Paint mentioned something that I was literally about to say. Someone's like, we were thinking telepathically, was that I find that heavy armor is not penalized enough on the movement side of things. It feels like the movement isn't, I feel like if you're in heavy armor, you should be like a big, huge freaking tank. And to sprint, you can't go very far. You really move very slowly. And, you need to have people almost around you to, almost like a berserker, or I don't know, some sort of, not berserker, but you know what I mean. Other games I've played it where if you have the big, huge, heavy person, they really can't move around very much. You know what I mean? They're very slow moving, and they take huge damage.
And that's kind of like, that kind of goes back to like the Team Fortress 2 mentality of the class-based shooters, where you have like the heavy, the soldier class, the medic class, the scout sniper class. And that's kind of what I think that's maybe a fallacy that CIG is thinking of Star Marine as a class-based shooter, especially when you have the ability to change out armor pieces and customize your loadout a little bit. When you start forcing players into archetypes, players will find an archetype that may surprise you, that fits their gameplay, or they play the game their way. Which
is kind of cool. Which is cool, but then it does lead to, if people can build their own kind of things, and you end up obviously getting everyone copies everyone's kind of build effectively eventually, like all things, don't they? And then you get the meta builds, and then you get but the heavy. It's just, sorry, go for it, Matt. Okay, go.
No, mate, you go for it.
I don't know where I'm going. It's kind of it's just, I find that it's just they've got so much stuff left to come in. It's kind of a bit of a futile thing. It's one of those little things at the moment that just seems a bit strange when I watch it. It's just fun when I watch it. I haven't played it. Maybe I need to play it first. But when I'm watching it, it just seems a bit like everyone's in heavy armor. If you're not in heavy armor, you're going to die really quickly, type of thing. And it's like.
That's part of the problem, is because of the incomplete nature of their what they have. They've essentially taken the Crisis engine, and they've made a Crisis first-person shooter without putting too much effort behind it. And that's pretty much how the Persistent Universe was played. Even back when we had the first implementation of the Persistent Universe, we essentially had Crisis in space. We don't have much derivation from that, but they are looking to add a health system that's has more depth in it. We had the medical gameplay kind of revealed to us a little bit with the Apollo Q&A, where getting injured is going to have far more consequences, but the time to kill is going to go higher, I feel, especially with an MMO. We're not going to have these one-shot drop kills. We're going to have, I think, wounding is going to be a lot more common, and then you're going to have disabilities kind of decide who's going to get the last shot.
But how about
range?
But getting shot in the head though, still surely that's like bye-bye.
I think is likely to be an insta kill. I can't see them like if you've got no everything's going to factor into the medical gameplay. So whether you're wearing armor, the type of injuries you can get, the place that you've been shot. So your arms so far are sort of separate. You know, it will eventually be a full pool. You can bleed out. You probably can go up to someone lying on the floor bleeding out and just go in the head. Done. And that will be one of their lives done. But, you know, Star Marine itself is a game within a game. It's supposed to be arcadey. It's not going to be like the Outside World 1-for-1. Sorry, not the one for the PU. It's going to have some arcadey things. Whether it's how arcadey, I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to be quite close to what it is in the PU, because that's supposed to be the area that you can test FPS without risking losing your actual life. But it needs to have that separation. It's
just interesting because obviously you were talking about the thing that you don't like it being a bullet spongy, but then in order for like what Forbidden Tech says in chat, which is the same thing that a lot of people talk about, obviously with death having such a heavy punishment, that you want it to be a bit more bullet spongy so that you don't die so quickly.
I don't mind. If it makes sense that you've got armor on and it's the armor is protecting you, I don't mind. It's when you see like every character, like zombies and whatnot in Resident Evil and the Division and whatnot, where you've got these characters that just absorb bullets regardless of whatever they're wearing.
And this goes into like a kind of like a bigger debate on how long is too long, how short is too short. And I come back around to Battlefield 5, where I argue that the time to kill is way too short in Battlefield, because you literally, as soon as you start taking fire, you're dead. Like it's just it's immediate. You're running down the street and suddenly
it does feel that
response dead screen. Boom, dead.
Let alone hardcore mode when that comes in.
But then it kind of
I swear to God, it feels like we're playing hardcore mode in Battlefield 5 right now.
Maybe you are.
It's maybe like 5 shots and it's
maybe they're balancing. They wanted to check it out, but I know I played Postscriptium, which is obviously a simulated kind of World War II, very realistic. You know, you get shot, like you're on the ground, you're bleeding out. If you can't hear yourself, you're dead. You know. Or one shot to the head dead type of experience. And obviously I'm just kind of Star Citizen being such a heavy simulated game, I want it to be very realistic and fidelity, and I just find this is the one area that I find there's going to be a real conflict and between the death of a spaceman and then fidelity and reality and then the bullet spongy. I think that there's going to be they've got a real difficult job there to kind of balance everything out and try and get to a place where they try and get everyone happy, because I don't think they're all going to make everyone happy, so maybe they have to pick a side where they're going to go down.
It's not about picking us. It's ultimately it'll just be whatever Chris really decides is what he wants for his game. But yeah,
I kind of disagree with that. Chris has shown he's flexible in listening to the community.
Oh, of course, he's flexible.
He'll take feedback. He'll take feedback, and they'll just make adjustments. I don't think what we have now is what we're going to have later.
No, definitely not.
I come back to the concept of a skill floor and ceiling with a ladder in between. There is a barrier to entry, which is your skill floor, like how difficult mechanics are to adopt and learn. You know, looking around, using your mouse and keyboard, using strafe keys, you learn how to use that, and then you start climbing that ladder and start getting better and better. And suddenly you get on top of someone who's just learning how to play. You get up on top of them, and then you get on top of the next level of skill, and then suddenly you're at the ceiling. You can't improve any higher than that. So everybody at that ceiling is pretty much equal. With Star Citizen, you're going to have a wide variety of people playing.
It comes to that equation of fun, immersion, and realism, and that is like the triangle of what they're going for. And they'll have to put something in and sort of see how it feels, and if it doesn't feel right, they'll adjust it. But like you say, it's like with the combat, having that top tier, the people like build it for the people who are really good, because that ultimately is where the fun is, and then have those underneath striving to be as good as they can be. But as long as it feels fun, it's all right.
I have to kind of slightly disagree there. Like, here's the problem we have in Star Marine. This is what we see in Star Marine a lot. Bullet sponginess can go through the roof depending on where you hit somebody and how you hit them, because every part of your body has its own pool. You have a global pool on your body of 70 hit points, and then when you shoot somebody, certain parts of your body resist damage more than other parts. And so if you hit somebody 3 times in the arm, another 3 times in the leg, and then two in the chest, you still haven't reduced that 70 hit points to 0, so they're still alive. But if you hit someone in the head twice, they're dead. So you end up having this huge, massive swing in time to kill, depending on how skillful you are. And for the new players entering into this is actually an exceptionally confusing environment. And I end up seeing even some bigger streamers start complaining about when they play Star Marine, because they don't quite understand that it's 4 to the chest, 2 to the head. A lot of people do, and there's a lot of desync, so bullets just kind of disappear too sometimes.
Well, there's also like the player stamina and all these sort of things that it's not going to feel like a typical shooter in a sense that you can sort of, no scope and get a perfect aim. Lots of things are going to affect the ability to shoot, which is just as important as to what happens when you get shot. So I don't know how they're going to stop. Like, if you have no helmet and you get shot in the head by a spray bullet, then is that your own fault for sticking your head out? Or I don't know. It's one of those things that will have to be really looked into and balanced.
Chris Roberts has no qualms with letting you dig your own grave. Like, I've played through the Wing Commander series, and Chris Roberts will let you make poor decisions in his previous games. You can go out there, you can make the extremely poor decisions, and because I remember there was a mission in Wing Commander 3 where you can make, it was Wing Commander 4. You can equip a cloaking. You had the ability to get 2 missions and equip cloaking devices, but you couldn't take a wingman on those missions. Right. And taking that cloaking device was just doubles down on the difficulty on some of these missions.
Yeah,
doesn't exactly make it easier.
But I like to say, Chris will, like, if someone is being stupid and approaching it like a typical FPS, then they will likely suffer.
Yeah,
I would like to see the medical gameplay and see how that will affect the FPS.
Yeah, definitely. Right, let's get started. That was just the introduction. That was the taster to what we like. So for anyone that's during that was just a little taster to some of the kind of the fun things and the way we kind of discuss things. It's very balanced. We've got positive, we've got Salt, we've got you guys in chat. We have questions is now open, so if people want to throw any questions, you can do for time. If I see any questions that I think are relevant to what we're talking about, we will go through them. You can also continue to put the exclamation brackets like question in chat if you want to as well. You're just more likely going to miss it, that's all, especially if we're going through a topic, but feel free. We're going to get cracking with the latest roadmap. We're going to talk about Citizencon 2018. So if anyone's, we're going to be pretty hyped. It's going to be positive. I'm really looking forward to doing this. So let's go through. So we have the roadmap. We're going to go through where we're at in terms of. So it looks like everything seems to be tracking fairly well. I mean, what I find asteroid mining, most of it looks pretty good. I was looking down here to see if there's anything that's kind of like nowhere near done.
Not really surprises. Yeah.
Not really. I mean, the Arena Commander Star Marine Rec rental thing is below 40%. Item kiosk shopping improvements is at 30%. The Tumbril Cyclone is at like what 9% or something. It's like not there, but the other ones. I mean, the Tumbril stuff doesn't look like it's particularly moving on a lick. But in terms of OCS and all of that stuff, I mean, background OCS spawning is almost complete, 93%. I know the reality is all of these things could get hooked up on one problem and that could delay everything, but we have to look at it with a positive light and go, look, some of the things look good, some of the things, performance optimization looks like it's behind schedule. I think everything looks like it's been 100% focused on OCS, bind culling. Yeah. That looks like that's what they've been like. We have to get this done. It
really is. And you can, like, the progress they've been making, although it's kind of slowed down now in terms of OCS, because they're getting to the last bits of it, rather than doing it in big chunks. Yeah. But they are burning through it. Most of them are like 2 tasks left to do, maybe, I think 20 on one of them. But they're getting
OCS. There. Yeah, object container streaming is
how long has it been? 4 or 5 years?
3 years.
4 or 5 years?
Yeah, they've been working on object container streaming for 3 years. Not. Yeah. Oh, you mean games development?
No. Object container streaming. I think it's 3 years. Yeah.
They've been working on it passively in the past.
Yeah.
But they've got to a point now where they've got to work, and this is just client OCS as well, not the server OCS. So it's just what I'm even going to try and explain it.
I'll try. You know me. I'll take a stab at it at OCS. So this is to just limit because every time you have to load something from your hard drive to your memory, there is a delay. So the idea is the people you have playing your game will have a wide range of hardware. Some people have 8 gigabytes of RAM. Some people will have 16. Some people will be crazy and have 32 like me. You shouldn't need to have 32 to play Star Citizen. Chris Roberts has come down and said, we need to get the memory requirements for our game down. And that's what OCS is designed to do. So OCS is designed to prevent Star Citizen from requiring more memory than you should ideally have, like ever, like 16 gigabytes, 8 gigabytes. That's what we're aiming for here. So what you do is when you can't actually see anything, you don't need to have the data loaded into your memory. So that prevents you from having to load it from your hard drive. So, and you don't want to load it from your hard drive because the hard drive's slow. So what happens is you leave Olisar. As you leave Olisar unloads from memory. It just gets deleted from your memory. And then as you approach Delamar, you start loading it from your hard drive into your memory. Therefore, you kind of hide that loading screen for Delamar behind the quantum travel mechanics. But you're actually traveling through space. If you wanted to travel to Delamar, you could just fire up your afterburners, and a couple hundred hours later, you probably arrive.
It does sound like I'm expecting when we do get it to be a lot of stuttering, because obviously it's loading up that specific thing. And they did say that when you go to Levski, it starts loading that up and they're getting stalling. So when you load Hurston and everything that's around Hurston, I assume it means all the Hurston and all of the things that are on Hurston, like the outposts and whatnot. I wonder if they're going to cull off the things around the back, like if you can't see certain outposts because it's on the other side of the planet. Yeah, it might be a good idea culling them from the client, because you can't see them, you can't benefit from them. But it sounds like they load the whole of Hurston and everything that's a part of it. So you do seem to see stores at the moment, they said.
Well, that was what RTV was about, right? RTV was all about object container streams, which was very good. And the challenges object container streaming is very clear, is or some of them anyway, but the main one that I was thinking of is obviously if you have a zoom effect like a sniper rifle or whatever, or the ability to zoom over a great distance to see something, visually you're back here, you can't see anything, but you want to hit a target, you zoom into it. Like before we saw from the planet, you could see stuff going on in the station before. The thing is how do they have to then know that you're zooming in and the program to be able to see what's going on?
The way that's
part of their magic.
Yeah. Now the thing is, it's like with a sniper rifle, it won't affect it because the distance is still great. You're like, let's say for example, the point at which a ship will disappear from object container will just be that 1 pixel. Yeah. But yeah, when it comes to long-range scanning, this is probably why they need the server-side streaming as well, because when you scan in a long distance, at the moment, the scanning isn't long enough to really warrant or to affect object container streaming. Yeah. But when you scan at a long distance, it will likely request that information from the server in that view that you're looking at, and then tell you what's there so that you can start gathering the data, rather than it just being like what's close to you. But that's long-range scanning, which isn't in yet, and I'm guessing before they can bring that in, they need to bring in server-side object container streaming, just so they've got that data that isn't client-based, it's on the server for you.
Yeah.
Excuse you.
So to give everybody kind of like an idea of just what we're running up against, OCS right now, the entirety of the persistent universe loads when you join the Crusader. Yeah, loads into your computer, and that sucks up a ton of memory. And Chris Roberts has said they're pretty much up against the memory limits right now because of all that, because everything loads in at once.
Yeah, they can't even load the 3.3 build on a lot of machines that have less than 32.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have those big space battles, then you need this. If you want to have bigger systems and more things going on in the game, you have to have this. If you want to have the massive universe you need this. There's no
biggest patch that they have brought since the game begun. It is the most important patch since the game begun. It's without that they can't advance. So they're gonna get that done before they can move on.
Yeah. And people keep talking about how OCS will only bring us so much. Like, no. OCS has potential unlimited implications, because you can, as your instance starts to fill up, say you have a big space battle, you can actually start unloading other stuff around the area to kind of free up resources for that big space battle for the people who are involved in that space battle. Suddenly, you don't need to know that moon's there, so you kind of reduce the level of detail, or you unload the moon nearby so more people can run better stuff. They get better frame rate in that big space battle. So there's stuff with that. Yeah. And they're gonna whatever savings they get for OCS, they're gonna fill up with more fidelity. Chris Roberts is not getting. Chris Roberts is like, hey, we've managed to free up, we got 120 frames now on someone's potato computer, and Chris Roberts like, great, we're gonna take 90 of those frames, and we're gonna add 50 Idrises to this battle.
Well, they have to. The reality is that they've got to fill it back. They've got to, you know, just because the game has got so little in it. The truth of the matter is like, in my opinion, to enjoy, it's got lots in it, but it doesn't feel like, because the universe is so massive, it doesn't feel like there's a lot in it. So it's like, in order to fill it, yeah, we're just going to lose all those. We think we're going to get we're going to get 60. No, we'll probably get 20, and maybe if we're lucky, 30 again.
It
and
sounds
they'll
like
put a load of stuff
they've got a benefit in certain. This is the thing they're saying. They're seeing a broad spectrum of performance increases in all across the studio, depending on the systems that they're using. Some people are seeing good improvements or very little improvements, and others are seeing drastic improvements. So I don't know what determines what we'll see that. It could be that if you were running 8 gig of RAM now, you'll see a massive improvement. If you're running 32 gig, you ain't going to see that much of improvement. But we are getting quite a consistent 30 frames a second at the moment. So if it's anything more than that, like 40, 50, perfect. Yeah. But it's the stalling that I think is going to be the biggest problem. When you jump to a new place and it loads that specific thing in, you're going to see stalling until they get a way of smoothing that out.
I don't know. I'm not going to make any comments on that because I don't know. I'm going to wait and see before. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bit of it, but I'll wait and see.
Here's my thing, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Madness will agree with me 100%. I don't give a rat's ass about stuttering when traveling to a new location. I only care about stuttering when I'm trying to kill somebody.
No, that's true. It's kind of like if we don't. I'd rather have a little bit of stuttering and no loading screen than vice versa. But yeah, if it happens while you're dogfighting, while you're in an FPS fight, and it stutters and it causes you to die, there's nothing more annoying. Or when you're coming into land and then it stutters and you're like,
I could deal with a little bit of stuttering by slowing down a little bit further.
Mining stuttering is
mining stutter too.
It's the worst. Oh my god, because we've got such a tiny window, the green to hit, and you get a stutter, and it's like, oh, I'm now into the red. I'm so far into red now. My rock is literally on the verge of blowing up. Then it does.
Here's how often I'm on this show, because I remember you making a very snarky comment to Miserable. I think it was Miserable, or it was
I make lots of
Moist Noodle about having your aim assist for your mining.
Oh yes.
Did you see that ATV where they were talking about making mining a little bit easier by having it kind of have it auto aim assist for your little green bar? I was thinking about you when I heard them say that.
Yeah. No, I mean it was literally it's because they make for anyone that's obviously new to the show, it's like I've always felt that if Star Citizen can't be picky and choosy on what they make easy and what they make hard, you know, you have to either make everything hard or make everything easy. I think it's unfair to make dogfighting, which I was saying about aim assist. I was like, that's not fair. You can't make dogfighting aim assist. You've got to make mining aim assist then, because I fucking suck at mining. As anyone who's watched my stream knows, every time I blow up a rock and get frustrated.
I 100% agree with that, because that's what creates that skill-based mechanic. If you have an aim assist, it's what's the point? Anyone can do it.
Yeah. That ladder to crime, and that journey to the top is what a lot of us really like. That learning the game, and this is something that kind of pisses me off. I was playing some StarCraft 2 with a friend years ago, and we were talking about it this was like back in Mumbler or Discord or something, and we were talking about it, and one of our asshole friends was like, "Why don't you guys just go watch YouTube videos?" And I'm like, then what's the point? What's the point?
Yeah,
we're just adopting someone else's way of playing the game. We're not discovering or making any innovations ourselves. Part of it's part of the journey.
I played dogfighting, I got my ass handed to me in the arena. I was in my little Mustang Alpha, and I got my ass handed to me, but I loved it. I never stopped loving it. I doggedly chased down the best pilot in Arena Commander every time, and I was like that annoying little person that you could see he was just like, will you just like turn around, boom, dead, and then I would be back again. He'd be like, oh, for God's sake, turn around, shoot me again. But it was like I didn't care. I didn't care what the score was. I didn't care how much I died, because I was having fun. I was learning and I was enjoying it. And I realized very quickly, okay, I suck in this. I need to upgrade. I need to get a better ship, which is what I did. And I slowly worked my way up. But I loved it. And I can't begin to tell you how much I loved last year's Star Citizen in terms of the combat and the flight mechanics. It was tremendous, and I really believe they'll get it back again. Because
here's something I want to bring up. Here's something I want to bring up, and I think a lot of people lose sight of this. I think many people forget about this. the time to kill for ships is going to increase massively once they start.
Yeah.
Once they start moving away from the hull damage is going to be the parts of your ship that fall off. That's going to be that's going to be difficult to do because they have this wonderful system that I only see when the game bugs out my ship, where your ship's skin gets all pulled away. You start seeing the subframe and whatnot. You know, that wireframe, that kind of mesh looking model with all the wires and stuff.
Yeah.
You only see that really like you should be able to see that damage show up on your ship when you're taking lasing fire, but instead your ship just blows up. But we're going to start seeing stuff like components get knocked out, power generators. You're going to have to use that ejection function. You're going to have to run away. People complain when I run away in the persistent universe, but you're going to have that option to you.
I can't wait to see ships' lights go out. I can't wait to see ships' lights go out on deck, see them flickering as you're shooting, and then you see like the back end of a ship's kind of gone. Like when you see like Star Trek, when you see the Star Trek, they break up or they slowly lose their power or whatever, and they're kind of drifting, and then bits of them are kind of. I think that's the reality is we all want that in our dogfighting experience. Chris Roberts clearly, I'm pretty sure, wants the same type of thing. The object container streaming is the idea of this will bring that element of to happen in the game, and so once they fix the flight mechanics and all that stuff, they can only I'm guessing, but judging what I'm seeing here in terms of the roadmap of my experience in 2 years, they really are operating in a way it's like they can really only focus on tasks at hand. I can see it now more and more as I've been a part of the development of the game. There's real focused tasks. They focus on this. They do other bits around the edges, but when they know certain things have to happen, like object container streaming, this has to happen now. This has to happen. This is the focus. And there will be things. And we have a question from Ash, and Ash Angel says, what would you be prepared to sacrifice from 3.3 in order to see object container fully implemented?
Everything.
Hurston? But I kind of want ship purchasing and rental.
The Hammerhead.
So that would be
more than happy to sacrifice the Hammerhead.
All the ships, all the other stuff that's not Hurston ship
that
has anything to do with ship purchasing, rentals, Hurston, and object container streaming. Everything that's not those three items. I guess Lorville. I'd like
Lorville and Hurston and object container streaming if I'm honest, and the ability to rent and buy ships and improved kiosks and bits like that. That's what I would like that, please. But missions, some more missions, please. That would be nice. That work.
I would love to see missions that are a bit more engaging. Well, not exactly varied, but take the missions we have right now, which is go to A, pick up a box, take it to B. Done. I would like to see this with no-fly zones. I've said this a lot, but with the no-fly zones with the AI. So instead of going to A to pick it up, you've got to fly to this location because you can't fly to the location where it is because it's a no-fly zone. And then you've got to get out and you've got to tab or drive to the location where there may be enemy. And you've got to sort of try and figure out a way of attacking them, picking up the box, taking it back to your location, and then taking it and delivering it somewhere. That sort of making the missions feel more expanded. Because at the moment, it's just go down, pick up the box, take it back. Yeah. The only time it lasts longer is when there's bugs and you lose it, or you're juggling around with the box.
Yeah.
Or you die when you get back in your
I definitely want, I've said this to you on your stream, I said to other people's streams, is I would really like in 3.3 the ability for if you're a bad person within the game, because we're supposedly meant to be bad. A lot of the missions are that is I want to make money from stealing people's goods. I want to make money from getting kills, like I used to be able to. I'd get money from doing kills, blowing up ships and stuff again.
I would love to have a mission. And this goes back to the disabling ships. How the lights flicker, hear the power going on, and then you hear the tractor beam sound as your ship grinds to a halt, and then you know you're gonna have to repel borders. Yeah, everybody has to run to the armory. People has to run to the armory, get a gun.
People will say to me like, "Oh, but you can get madness on bounties." Yeah, I can get bounties on people who are bad, but I can't as a bad person or a bad person, but as a pirate, should we say, rather than bad person?
Naughty boy.
I'm a bad person. As a pirate, or as someone who's like, I can't get money, doing that. I don't think I can get money off of. I can't steal people's. I can't kill you in your cutlass, for example, whatever, and then get on board and steal your shit on your cutlass and sell it. I can't sell your cutlass or take your cutlass to a port and sell it. And for me. It's really expensive running a spaceship. It's really expensive spawning my spaceship as a pirate. I need to make money, and I really not a miner. It's not my forte. I'm a shooter and a killer and a murderer in the game. That's my forte. So I want to make money from that. And
only in the game, though, right?
Only in the game. No, I'm not in real life.
That's another good discussion to have right there. Like, a lot of games really punish PvP. They design systems designed to push people out of those roles, or at least out of the game. They're like, oh, you want to do PvP? Here's this arena you can fight in. Oh, here's this realm you can fight in, away from everyone else. But Star Citizen's going to go a different route. So how are you going to create gameplay loops for these people that want to engage in more aggressive kind of gameplay, more hostile actions? Are they going to be fighting NPCs all the time? What if they want to fight other players?
It sounds like this is a hard thing, isn't it? Is if you're going to see 90% NPCs, the chance of finding a player, not like finding a player is going to be impossible, but every time you set up a trap to try and catch someone to board, technically 90% of the time they're likely to be NPCs. They're not going to be players. Obviously, you'll still be able to get a bounty from that, but if you're wanting that PvP action, it's more varied of you want the gameplay. Is it really just the people you want, or the challenge that people tend to bring? Because technically, the NPC should be just as challenging.
Both. It's both. I definitely hear what you're saying, and I definitely want. The NPCs are nowhere near good enough. The AI is clearly proven is not good enough. I mean, in terms of feeling, it's not good. Yeah. Not yet, but at the moment it's nowhere near there. Doesn't mean it won't be on the next patch, and it could be. They could bring it, absolutely nail it. They really could. But for now, the challenge, and I don't think I've ever played a game, if I'm being honest, where I felt that the NPCs are like a human, because when you play an NPC, they always feels like a computer. It feels like a computer. It always feels like it's either got an aimbot and it's too good and it shouldn't be shooting you from behind that wall, or it's its decision making is either perfect and flawless, or it doesn't feel right. Whereas with the humans, just our chaos theory, our randomness is so beautiful, and so you can't mimic that. It feels to me anyway. It just adds so much. Like I've fought so many people that do weird shit, and you just kind of go, "Whoa, that's crazy!" And you learn from some of it, Whereas a computer, it would always feel like it's an algorithm and a computational kind of process. So I always want to fight humans, that's for sure. And I will get it in Arena Commander when they improve that, sure. But in the PU, I'll be, you'd be setting up traps and trying to figure out how to lure humans to get good combat experiences, and I want those big space fights, and that's what I'm hoping for will still happen. We'll still get those big convoys of humans that will be transporting goods, and there'll be those big convoys of pirates waiting around the corner to try and relieve them of their goods.
What you could do is if you find a human player in a spaceport and you're walking around and you can tell them apart, mark them as a person of interest and tab them and tell your pirate friends, I'm following this guy, I'll let you know where he's going, and then you can set up a trap. That might be a cool way. I mean, randomly trapping an AI, a person to rob, and the chances of them being human are probably quite slim, unless they're on the backwaters, which, why would you be there? Because you're not going to find them as often. So it could actually create more gameplay.
The player base, absolutely, I agree with Bob. We do need the player base. The fact that they've limited it, is it to 50-50 again? This it's not expanding.
More space.
That's a shame.
We're getting more space with Hurston and the rest stops. Let's not forget about the rest stops. We're getting more space with Hurston and the rest stops, and we're not getting any more player.
I think that's a precaution.
Up against,
I think it's a precaution. Don't you?
I think they said it's more because they need server-side stuff to expand it.
Server-side OCS deals with the data side, and right now we're up against the limit for bandwidth because the data handling is so dirty right now. The math is just too dirty on the server side.
So, so they're going to clean that up first, and then they'll bring it back again. What do you reckon? 3.4, if it works out quite well.
Hopefully, they need persistence. They said they need more persistence as well. So that's something that they said they didn't have the tech for server-side streaming yet. But I think they know what they're doing.
Okay, so we've still got quite a big. There's a big chunk then still missing really in terms of.
So we still may see a lot of desync with our network code. So you still may get blown up by a guy halfway across the galaxy because your ship was over there with him, but in reality you were 500,000. Kilometers away.
Good reality check right there. Good reality check.
They did actually say, like, someone asked, like, what are we likely to see? And they said missing entities, stalls, popping, and teleporting issues. So there's a chance. And you may think that's it could. I don't know if they just mean players or if they mean AI. If they mean
probably everything.
Yeah, you'll think someone's hacking. And then you go.
Okay, so unless someone's got anything else on Object Container Stream, I think the only thing I was going to say is it just seems to be that Gordon's holding everything up for everybody, as far as I could tell from the RTV. Gordon is Gordon's fault.
Gordon, the guy on the right.
I think he was the one guy, and everyone was like, "Well, we have to wait for him, and then we can do it, and then we can hand it to our teams, and then we can hand it to everybody else." And I was like, "Poor old Gordon sat there. There's a skinny little guy. He's like really nervous, and it's like it's all his fault because everyone blame him. He's the only person. Like literally, if nothing happens, it's all Gordon's fault." I was like, "Poor guy." He's like, "Someone maybe." Can he not get like a helper or something? You know, an assistant to maybe help him out a little bit, relieve some of the pressure. It's just, I was like, he looks like he's going to break. I could sit on him and snap him. Like that's a huge amount of pressure for somebody on their own. So he's awesome. Respect to Gordon. That's all I'm saying. We'll have to keep checking he's alive though, and keep using the blind blessed quote. Gordon's alive every time we find he's alive. Make sure he's okay because I think he was like a 300-400 pound man when he first started at CIG.
Sweating all the stress out.
Sweating all the stress out.
Yeah.
When he first started.
But
actually, no, I think he's Scottish, though, isn't he? He's Scottish, so he's fine. He's as hard as nails. He's as hard as nails. There was a really good Reddit breakdown for anybody that's interested, which I can post for anyone. But if actually, I'll do that. It's a really good one with an RTS. Oh no, I'll do it in a second. Okay, so basically, it's not a silver bullet, but it's coming and it's going to be, I think they did say truly awesome. I think one of the guys was saying it's been truly awesome. So there's a lot of positives, I think, with it coming, which I'm really happy
It's
about.
definitely better to have it than not have it, I guess.
Yeah. So next question.
Downplayed Object Container Streaming there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No. Well, it's good to keep it like, hey, I think it will be truly awesome. I think it's going to be great. I do think there'll be bugs, as always, with Star Citizen, but I'm going for a positive view on this. I think this could be pretty freaking awesome.
CIG do downplay things now because they don't they know what happens when hype gets over. And then things explode.
Everybody gets disappointment.
I think it's very exciting. Very exciting. If it gets it, it will have to get in. So I'm very excited about it. We have a question that says, if you could design, who's this from? This is from the Anonymous Coward. He says, if you could design a weapon that's effective but illegal in UEE space, what would it be?
Atom bomb.
WMDs. I would design. Hey, remember the what was it? Minority Report. Those 6 sticks. That makes you throw up.
Yeah.
I'd zap someone with that, and you'd vomit in your helmet, and you drown. Done.
Isn't that like a taser? Like it makes people piss if you hit them with a taser, they'll pee themselves or something.
No, it makes them vomit. You zap them with them, and they throw up.
Yeah, I had 6 dicks as well.
6 sticks. Oh my god.
Slap them with a dildo and they throw up.
Oh my god, there was a game that you could do that with. You get a huge giant purple.
Yes,
dildo
it was called Saints Row. It was Saints Row. It was called the Penetrator, by the way.
Great time to grab a beer.
That was so much fun.
Yes, I remember the name of the weapon. Who could not remember the name of that weapon?
I'm trying to think.
It's an actual prop, by the way. Who made Saints Row again? I'm trying to remember who made it. They actually made a prop of that thing.
Yeah, it was.
They actually had
they really need to make a prop. I'm sure they modeled it on a real life thing, surely.
No, oh god, it was a horse cock. They put a bat handle on.
Let's move on. We have.
You want to move on? Move on?
Let's move on from that. My weapon of choice would be, there's a movie, I've forgotten the movie, but when he's trying to murder somebody, he has a thin line, and then he like puts. I think it's
Serenity.
No. It's with John Cusack, and he plays a great movie where he plays an assassin. He goes back to school, to high school or whatever. He meets his ex-girlfriend that he left, but he becomes not High Fidelity. It's the other one. Gross Point Blank. Is that right? Yeah, Gross Point Blank. And basically, he has a very thin wire that he's above the guy's bed. The guy's sleeping, and it's a very thin wire, and then he just like puts the poison, and then it slowly comes down the wire, and then it kind of drops into the guy when he's sleeping to kill them, kind of silently assassinate them. So that would be my weapon of choice. Or maybe a wire, one of the grotting wire things, or the laser thing from. I've got a few. Again, it's like Johnny Mnemonic, the finger thing, the nail thing, where you
the laser thing.
Laser thing.
I knew where you were going before you even said it, because you were talking about
wires. I'm thinking wire. Basically, wires, laser wires, and kind of that kind of stealthy stuff.
My weapon of choice would be Christopher Walken.
Christopher
comes in and starts dancing, and everyone just dies. Nobody saw that coming.
For anyone that's watched Johnny Mnemonic, Henry Rollins, if you watch the latest Cyberpunk thing where they have the razor, whatever his name is, the doctor with the fingers and stuff, go check out, go look at the video. It's basically Henry Rollins. They basically taken that scene from Johnny Mnemonic, and that's the thing. I saw it and I was like, I just knew straight away. I was like, wow, that's a direct reference to it. It was very cool. Okay, so we'll move on because we have lots of good things to talk about. So I'm going to talk briefly about space racing and why I personally was wrong to hate on it as a waste of time. And this was kind of like I read up on it, I read some people's opinions on it, and I think I was wrong in being so hasty to consider it a waste of time. And I'm going to read out what I think, and then you guys can tell me what you think. So based on ground-based escort transport missions, the hostile interference, it's a good way to balance speed and firepower of vehicles with a semi-real goal in mind instead of being purely combat or speed focused, which I thought was quite good. And then another one was it requires checkpoints, ground vehicles, combat AI, balancing vehicle size components, and weapons and speed. Other than that, it doesn't require much extra work, but those are the things needed for escort missions, etc. in the future, as they will be a general gameplay balance. So I think development time is spent wisely on this. And then another person says, basically, it's the only profession mechanic that is fleshed out. In all you need, it's all you need is to be able to move a ship. So it's the best place to start when figuring out how full missions should work without having to add more mechanics. Now, I read those 3 comments that people made, and there's a few others similar to this, and I will go back and retract. Actually, if what they're saying is true and these things are of a benefit, yes, the racing thing actually isn't just what I was commenting on, just a white bit of smoke or green bit of smoke and a bit of a waste in time. It is actually quite useful. So there you go. What do you guys think? Has it changed your mind, or are you already there?
Racing. I would like to have individual, like what you said there is probably true, is the fact that it's building more mechanics than just what it looks like on the facade of just being a racing thing. But I think we will see races that are non-weapons. We will see more combat-orientated races. I didn't like the fact that I think they should have divisions, but then a cyclone race or a dragonfly race or whatever. But then I guess not many people own each vehicle, so splitting them is going to be pointless for the majority of the players. But I don't know. I will take part in it. I don't mind the idea of it. It just seems a bit scatty. But if it is benefiting the overall development, which most things will do at this point, because progressing on anything is really going to help further down the line anyway, and I'm for it.
Yeah.
I'm not overly hyped for it.
No, I don't think I'm not. It didn't change my mindset in terms of being hyped for it, but I think I was too quick to dismiss it. It's very much kind of like to say, "Oh, this is shit. I was wrong."
Get yourself on the fence a bit more, Madness.
I know, right? I know, right?
Dave.
Indecisive Dave. Yeah, no, for sure. No, I mean, like I said before, I have no problems admitting when I'm wrong. So I hold my hand up and say, in this instance, I think I was wrong.
Let me just throw my hat in the ring. I enjoy racing when there's absolutely nothing left to do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like I want combat, but combat's not a thing right now. So
yeah,
I kind of do racing, but I find it's like it's like beer. The more you drink it, the more you like it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's going to have combat in it. We're going to be able to shoot each other in it. So I was hoping they would put animations in so I could shoot people from vehicles. So you could get your partner, rather than shooting from the turrets, you could physically stand up with a railgun and fire the railgun, or you could lean out the side and shoot your hand pistol, or you're like in PUBG, you can be in the passenger seat and shooting guns out of it. For me, that would elevate racing to a fantastic level for me, to make it really fun. At the moment, you sit in the passenger seat and you can't do anything other than maybe use the turret. It's very disappointing. It's very frustrating. Other than doing a stupid emote and then getting a silly animation afterwards where you wobble around on the floor like a weird crab.
Magnus was watching me this morning.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
That's a thing. If anyone's seen it, HC, go check out HC and ask him to do the crab walk. Yeah.
Crab walk.
The leg walking forward.
The leg that your kneecaps go through your shoulder blades.
It looks like the Fallout 3 creature that had the weird, the centipede thingy, the centauroid thing in Fallout 3. Yeah, the centaur thing that kind of rolls on. Weird as fuck. Okay, cool. That's good. And then here's another thing. So, I like to put adverts out for other people within the gaming community because CIG don't do their citizen and spotlight things so much. But Rice Mating is doing a giveaway of a dragonfly, and I'm going to give him a shout out because
physical dragonfly.
Yes, it is a physical dragonfly.
It's a model.
So on my desktop here, you will see
model.
a little homage memory to when I was the dogfighting champion winner.
You were like, shit, this is nice. It's like, oh, sorry, you can't keep it.
I can't keep it. I know, right? So yeah, I was disappointed not to have any.
You can take a picture of it.
I got to take a picture of it, but that was the original model. But anyway, this Rice Maiden, he is doing a this is his webpage, 123 Drake Dragonfly Citizencon edition, and he was talking about the test box. He's done a beautiful with test. They're going to be giving away, this is like loot, I believe, at Citizencon. So we're talking about Citizencon now, guys. So we're going to be really moving into hype stuff for Citizencon, and this is going to be one of the giveaway things, which I think is beautiful for a fan made. I mean, this is I have to have a slight dig at CIG because this is a fan is made, in my opinion, a beautiful 3D prop. He's not even properly connected to CIG.
But when you consider like what JD prop. And that lot do,
yeah, JD as well, yeah,
the lockers and stuff, they're officially
they are now, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't mind that because that means that we can actually buy them because we're not allowed to buy these things.
Yeah,
because of that, you know.
Yeah, I know. That's the frustration.
Give him a donation, he can send you one, or something.
I'll send you a donation of $1.
I really would hope. I'm hoping I could get this. This is the one that I did actually say when I took the order of the Hornet. I was like, oh, it's nice, but I wish it was a Saber because it's like that's the babies for me. But I'd love to have a Saber. But anyway, he does beautiful stuff. So if you're going to Citizencon and you win, if anyone's in chat here and you're one of the lucky people that wins, please do. I look forward to seeing pictures and you know, we maybe see if we can get you on the show. It'd be great.
And I have met Rice Maiden.
Look at all the stuff
I have met Rice Maiden in person, and he had the 1/64th scale model of the Carrack. Yeah, it wasn't I think these scales are like 1/12 or something, but he had to do a special 1/64th model for the Carrack because it would have been the size of the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to hold some of his work, got to take pictures of it. I think I have some pictures on my Twitter account of me holding the Carrack. But yeah, they're great. I like them.
They're great models. I mean, you can see this. I mean, you can get an idea of the scale. There's a Dragonfly we saw, and there's these on the other ships. Beautiful models. And
they're painted now. They weren't painted before. They look really nice with the paint on.
Oh, I haven't seen the fully painted ones. I've seen the ones with the color pops. That's obviously the colored 3D printing, but I haven't seen that's just colored stuff. I don't.
Oh, weapons. I think.
Yeah, that's just the plastic. It's just he's just done blue plastic.
Sorry, I see. Yeah, that's not part of the wood, is it?
Yeah.
It normally was gray, but he's changing the color of the plastic.
He's done the plastic.
Oh, is he 3D printing the plastic?
He is.
Yep.
Yeah, those bits are 3D printed.
But
it's great.
One of the first guests that we had on Citizens of the Verse, me and Mizad.
Was he?
Thought we could try and get a sneaky free one out of him. Shit. Didn't work.
Oh god.
Never had him back again.
Never had him back again.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
You've slighted Citizens of the Verse for the last time.
Okay, so here we are. Star Citizen 2018. One of the big things for me about Citizencon over the last few times is obviously we've seen Hurston, we've seen Lorville already, or did we just we saw Hurston and we saw ArcCorp.
We flew over Lorville.
We flew over
We've
it.
seen bits of Lorville.
We've seen the technology to building obviously the environments, and we've seen lots of ATVs recently. We saw lots of great stuff. What do you guys think you're going to see? And I know that poor old Andy Shark's been desperate to talk about the Xi'an stuff. I promise you we will get to it. We talk about it as we go through. It will be there, but at the moment we're just talking about it. But this is where we'll start talking about the Xi'an stuff will come up.
Teasing him.
Okay, I'm teasing you. I'm sorry. I know you're desperate. It's like I really want to talk about it. We're bringing it up. But what are you looking forward to? Most excited for 2018? What do you expect to be? How do I phrase this? What to expect at Citizencon 2018?
Well, how about I take a stab first? I'm expecting to see more capital ships. We saw Idris Combat last time. Maybe we'll see more of the Javelin, the Bengal. Maybe they'll reveal, because we haven't seen, I think there's a battle cruiser and there's an escort carrier we're supposed to have. I don't think we've seen the battle cruiser, but we have seen the Retribution, which I can't remember what class the Retribution is, but we haven't seen the escort carrier, which is the Pegasus escort carrier, in a long time. So they may reveal those two ships, because we have an unknown battle cruiser, I believe.
Yes.
We'll probably see more jump points, because it's been a long time since we've seen a jump point, and we're starting to get to the point where jump points are now relevant again. where it's relevant to talk about them, because the next system is coming up once Stanton gets filled out here in maybe in a year and a half. Depending on how we're going, I don't know, maybe a year for Stanton to fill out completely once they get Microtech in there, because Microtech's not on the roadmap right now. So I'm figuring maybe the next like 2.
It's not on the roadmap, but I had a brief. I think I had a clip where they've talked about it. They've started pre-production.
Yeah.
For it. So it's not like it's not on the roadmap, but they have actually started pre-production for it.
Yeah.
You're not thinking of the
soon
moons, are you, for ArtCore?
No.
ArtCorp's gonna have moons, yeah. But we also have the Aaron Asteroid Belt, but they pretty much said once they have all the big stuff in for Stanton, they're gonna look at the next system they want to add. So
yeah,
go ahead, Mac.
I can't see them looking at jump points yet. I feel like it's still too early for jump points because Stanton is not completed yet. You know, we've only just getting the first planet.
I'm talking about like showing off their idea for like what jump point piloting is, because the last time we saw a ship navigating a jump point was a long time ago.
Well, we know what we're going to see in terms of panels, and I don't see them. I mean, we've got the opening keynote from Chris. That is where we're likely to see the first really cool feature of stuff, and I think we could see more on capital ships, like you said. I don't know about seeing the retribution and things. I don't know if they're going to save that for Squadron 42 stuff or what, because they have no use for them in the PU just yet. But
still good tease.
It is, yeah. I would really hope so. I would love to see more on the capital ships. I'd like to see more on Squadron 42. I would think we'd see something on Squadron 42, considering it's Citizencon.
Well, we got a Detox raid. What's up, Detox?
There you go.
Detox. But definitely lots of Lorville, lots of Hurston. I think that's why they're saving the 3.3, is like they said. They don't want to create something new. They want to hype it up, because if they showed us if they released 3.3 and then had nothing to show us and had to show us or more of 3.3, it would be a bit of a downfall. So I don't think they're going to have anything too big to show us, because they're all working on that. But saying that, this is Chris.
Yeah,
I disagree. I think Chris is holding back. That's why ATV is kind of watered down these days.
It sucked so hard for months for a reason. Yeah.
I think he's got something in his back pocket he's been saving for a while that he just wants to pull out and kind of flop on the table and say, "Look at this big thing we got! Isn't it impressive?" He's gonna have at least one big thing he wants.
He's got to. He's got to.
He loves the accolades. He loves the applause. He loves just kind of being up on stage and having people admire him. So he's got something. He's got something.
Yeah, he after what's happened because of the past and everything else, I think he will need to have something. Knowing Chris, he probably has something to wow people. Hopefully it will be something that won't be like 12 years away and never happens. Hopefully it will be much more, okay, cool, this looks like we're going to get it fairly soon, like next year. Because from what I understand, Citizencon has always been what we're going to get in the next year. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you think about Gamescom 2016, we've pretty much got everything that was kind of mentioned on the video when they did the thing. We land on planets, we get the ships. You know, we've pretty much got everything. I went over it recently, and I was like, we've pretty much got that. We haven't. There's a few things we haven't got, but we pretty much got what they promised in 2017. Similar type of thing. We're nearly there. Wait till the end of the year, and I'll give them the judgment. At the moment, we haven't finished the complete year yet, so they've still got a few more months. But yeah, no
AI.
Well,
lots of AI would be nice to see what they're working on.
Subsumption, yeah, AI subsumption would be great. The cloth tech,
probably playable female models.
Maybe.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna put myself. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say there's one thing we're guaranteed to see at Citizencon. One thing, guaranteed, and that is cringy acting.
Oh God, yeah, with the demo.
Yeah.
Oh, shall we just go over here? Yeah, good idea. That was random. Not planned at all. Fucking hell. EA styly.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do see more of a mission on Hurston, like running a proper form mission, hopefully using the AI and doing it as a crew, as a crew with VoIP. Yeah. VoIP, he'll want to show off that feature. So there's definitely going to be some form of multi-crew aspect of VoIP.
Teamwork. Yeah. Probably get expanded to like a fleet. fleet crew mission.
It's interesting.
Like,
Do you know what's interesting is Oh Boy, and I believe Shark and Addy Shark as well. We're talking about the salvage, so we'll bring this into this one because one of the questions is, are you guys excited for salvage, and what do you think about it? And I think that could be something we see potentially. We could see a bit of salvage going on. I would love to see an idea of maybe someone doing like a mission. I'd love to see like a mission doing salvagey type of thing. They then land, they then exit the ship, they've then got their money from doing the mission, kind of like an Alien-esque type of thing, but without the alien.
Maybe a working reclaimer.
And then they do their salvage, they get their cut from their teammates or whatever. They walk onto ArcCorp or wherever it is, Hurston or whatever, walk into a place, they've got their chunk of money, and then they buy a spaceship from the person on the thing. They then get to their spaceship, they get in their spaceship, they take off, and then they go and do whatever the next part of the story is or whatever they want it to be. But that for me would be a fantastic demonstration of gameplay mechanics. It would silence the people that are talking all the time about Citizen Scam and not being able to buy ships in game, because it would be like, look, there it is, there physically. Before, we've never had that in game, with them walking up to a terminal, buying a freaking spaceship and being able to get it and go away. I mean, that would, for me, would tick some serious boxes. And I'd know then as well that Chris Roberts was serious, and they were serious about bringing it in within the year, because they still have dodged this one. They continue to dodge it. We talk about renting in the verse, which isn't true. I think this would really put the pin in it to say, this year we're going to be getting the ability to buy ships in game, and I would be very, very happy for that. That would be my dream situation.
I wouldn't be surprised if part of the demo they show us is them going to this new archetype store and buying, well, maybe not buying, I don't know if buying is going to be a thing, but renting looks like it's on its way.
It is a
like, why would they say? But to be honest, though, if you consider they still wipe the patches, I think renting is the best option right now, because you can buy, if the amount of time it takes you to earn enough credits to buy a ship, and then they wipe the credits. I know Chris is saying he wants to stop this whole wiping of each patch, but until they bring that in, buying ships is pointless, because it's going to take you all that time to get enough credits. You go and buy it, and then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, they wipe it again. Renting is the best option for it, because it brings in the option so people can have other ships. There's no more this paywall of, using a prospector and whatnot. It's there available. So, and it's not overly expensive, so people can do a few missions, earn enough to pay rent on a prospector for a week or whatever, and then go off and do those missions. Then when they're finished, they can come back, rent something else. That, I think, opens it up, regardless of whether buying's in or not.
Yeah. I just, for me, it's just like, the way I look at it is like when you see the success of Cyberpunk, and the way I like the way that they framed up their trailer, their gameplay. It was a fully, obviously, rendered trailer, and it was already pre-done and video and stuff like that. But the thing I love about that is the way that they, showed off the gameplay mechanics. They talked about the game. They showed off how it works. And I think for me, Star Citizen has really dodged a lot of that, and it's become a cinematic experience of just watching people walking around. Look how big our universe is. I think if you haven't seen and don't realize how big Star Citizen's universe, then you're living in a hole. I think what a lot of backers, especially old school backers, want to see now is the gameplay, and more of the actual true gameplay that we're going to see. So for me, it's if they're going to show that in the side stuff more, that's fine. But the problem I have with the side venue videos or whatever we see, it's always sprints, and they kill off so many sprints, and sprints never go anywhere. Whereas I feel like if it's more in the final big demo, I feel like it becomes reality. Does that make sense? Like based on
showing
what I've
more
seen.
of what we're going to get in the near future, rather than showing us like Lair 3 or somewhere else that really isn't practical to what we're likely going to get in any time near future.
That's just for somebody in chat, because they were saying they didn't like it. That's the reason why I like it, is for that reason, is the reason I want
when you go back to like the 2015 Citizencon demo, 2016 Citizencon demo, we got everything in those demos eventually. The one thing we didn't get out of the 2015 Citizencon demo was the ability to find a derelict ship, reactivate it, and fly it around. If anybody remember them. If anybody remembers them flying up to that Retaliator and turn the power back on and start flying around. We didn't get that just yet. So
that's to do with persistence, probably, I'd imagine. All that.
It's to do with I think that's to do with the ship item degradation and wear and things. So finding a derelict ship that you can sort of reroute power and fix up the components, that will come in repair, especially, rather than anything else. But I don't think we have repair anywhere close.
I'm disappointed that salvaging is coming so quickly compared to refueling, because I feel like refueling is going to be far more immediate concern in the near future than salvaging. But it does interest me a little bit, you know, salvaging, the idea that you can make money off destroyed ships.
I thought thingy was coming first. Oh no, it isn't.
Yeah, repair or salvage is coming first next year. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I know like salvage and repair are kind of hand in hand, but reversed.
Yeah, you think repair first, but I guess the reclaimer needs to get a use first before the Starfarer. You know, what do I know?
Say fuel's important. Is that that should be up there really, because they have the Starfarer.
I mean, that is one of those kind of like, it's like a way, it's like the elephant in the room, isn't it? Literally, physical elephant in the room is the Starfarer that's sat there going, what about me? Can I maybe get like what I was intended for to work at some point, please? The Reclaimer's like, whoa, hold up, pal. Hang on a minute. I'm bigger than you. I should definitely be working first.
My price tag is bigger than yours. I go first.
Back up. I'm coming in first. And then it's like, you know, there is that case. There's all that. Like I said, there is a shit ton of stuff that we could be negative about Star Citizen. We've always been. If anyone knows anything about me, I'm more than happy to fling salt at stuff. But I've drawn a line under a lot of stuff. Until the end of the year, I'm going to do a full review, I feel, of how the year has gone. We'll have a big kind of Asylum podcast for several hours where I think we'll go over the year. We'll talk about the good points, the bad points, really kind of like sum up how we felt it goes. I think it's too early to kind of completely chastise CRG. I think we all know the Chris Roberts, like I said before we've been chatting, the paywall nonsense. If you want to know my opinions on that, go check out Captain's Table. I think it was episode 28 with a little bit of madness. You'll see me tell you very clearly, very concisely my raw feelings on the subject. If you want to watch that, feel free to watch that. But for now, I've drawn a line under it and I'm moving on because we have to. Otherwise, we'll never go anywhere.
Low sodium.
We got to move on. We got to move on. It doesn't mean it's not there. It doesn't mean we won't bring it up. It doesn't mean we won't use it as reference. But it's done. You know, we got to move on. Otherwise, we'll be forever stuck in limbo.
Positive thinking.
We will be. We have to be positive. Otherwise, what's the point? So I don't have Chris Roberts next to me with a gun, by the way, before anyone says that. I know Forbidden Tech believes he's there, but
brother Aaron.
I promise. Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah. No. So, is there anything else? Is anyone else? Let me just see if there's any more pops in chat. Let's see if anyone's got any more questions that are relevant to. We got some questions. If people, we do exclamation question. When did we change the definition of purchasing? Okay, yeah. So this is a good question. So this is from another anonymous coward. He says, when did we change the definition of purchasing to renting, and why are so many people okay with it? Okay, this is a good one. This is actually a good one because it is. I think it's just understanding. CRG are very good at kind of like twisting words around a little bit. I'm not comfortable with it personally. That's why I keep saying purchasing. You know, I still want it purchasing. I don't see the problem with it. I don't like renting because then it allows them to go back to this rec system that they've had for ages, and then wrecking, and then it's another form of like we have to play, you know, Star Marine or Stars, you know, in order to get wreck, and then racing in order to then get ships in the. It just feels like it's an old system that they got rid of, and I think that was good to get rid of, and they should move on. You know. Okay, we talked about this on the Captain's Table, but I had to apologize to my viewers because I made the mistake of assuming they wouldn't bring ship rentals to the persistent universe, and they are. They are designing a ship rental store for Lorville. Believe it or not. But with Alpha UEC or Rec? Alpha UEC. It's it's in the production schedule. It's in the monthly schedule, the monthly production report. You have to search for rental, the keyword. So, it's towards the environmental art team. Okay, and do we think this will be token-based like Rec system, where it's like 1 day, 2 day, they'll do a token system where if you take it out,
I would suspect so.
I fucking hate that.
We've seen the screens that have 1 day a week. We've seen some screens actually have the drop-down where you can say how long you want to rent it for. Do you think it will be, because I don't like it, but it's the way it's going to be, and I can't change it, but I don't like it. But Chris Roberts did talk about purchasing and rental at the same time in the same breath, essentially, when he was on that Reverse the Verse. He said, we're going to work on renting and ship purchasing, and I had made the assumption that it was going to be rental for Arena Commander and purchasing for the Persistent Universe, but apparently both in the Persistent Universe, purchasing and rentals.
So there's probably going to be Astro Armada, and then there's going to be this rental store at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you might be right there. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you can have like some shops may allow you to do both, but yes, if they've
how much?
Sorry,
how much do you think? How much? Because I'm imagining I'm hoping they do bring in both, because then it'll be like, here's the full price of the ship. It's going to cost you shit tons of money, and then here's the rented price of the ship for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. It could be considerably cheaper. So then because then obviously if they're still doing patches and still doing wipes, you'll probably be discouraged anyway from purchasing it, because the reality is going to cost so much to get to it, and you'd be like, fuck that, I'll just rent that one because I want to see what it's like, rather than buying the full version of the ship. But they'll have the system in place. Does that make sense?
Or maybe that would require a test drive feature where you can try it for so long. But
that would be the test. That would be the rentals test drive.
The rental test it out for a week.
That makes sense to have that option, because you don't know if you've got all that cash and you've saved all that cash and you think, well, what sort of ship do I want? Let me try it first, because it might not be the ship for you.
Yeah.
So being able to rent them first makes perfect sense, but whether they do that, I don't know. I would think so. They do tend to, not all the time, but make the logical decision in the end.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'm in the mindset of like, I know what I really want. I just want to buy ships. But then at the same time, it's like, the truth of the matter is we've been so long without anything in the game. I have to be, I genuinely, if I have a way of getting more spaceships, and if you're a new backer and you have a way of actually being able to get all the ships in game, and if it is just through a renting system, and it's maybe not the greatest, but it is a renting system and you can have the ships for a period of time, that would be great. It would be great. It'd just be great, because then it would silence a lot of bullshit. I know it's not exactly where we want to get to. So long as they put the ability to buy ships as well next to it, and the reality is it's better to rent, then I'll be happy. I think if they just put in the renting system, but they don't still have the ships to buy, then it will be, I'd feel a little bit shortchanged still. I wouldn't be totally unhappy, but I would be, okay, that's great, but you guys still need to honor this ability to buy ships in game. But in order to stop, for me, the bullshit that goes on outside of the game. That's the thing. I want to get rid of that bullshit that goes on all the time outside the game.
I think what they're doing now is trying to get rentals in first, because it's probably simpler than putting purchasing in due to the amount of UEC that's being transferred.
Do you think for the persistence? Do you think for the persistence issue as well? Because once you, in theory, if they want it to be a truly in-game, you buy it, you own it, it's yours forever.
You buy it and then you get it, and then the persistence didn't work, and you lose it again. You're like, fucking hell, what?
Yeah,
that was like 3 million
components right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to put it in if things aren't functioning.
Here's the thing with the way this kind of speaks to the mentality of people at CIG who are building the economy. Like when they first added the insurance system, remember that? Remember how expensive reclaiming your ships was and how long the timers were? Do you remember when they added components, how expensive the components were when they adjusted the economy for shipping? Eventually, how that was. They are trying to train us. They're trying to set our expectations for the released game right now. So when ship purchasing gets added, those ships will be very expensive. AUEC wise, it will be like playing the release game. You'll be grinding for maybe till the next patch. Probably the next patch you'll be able to afford a Caterpillar just before the reset hits.
That's why Chris has said he wants to stop this whole resetting of people's accounts, because they're going to be a grind. And if you earn the cash and then they reset it, you'll lost all that money. You got to start again. So Chris has said he wants to get away from it. He didn't say when it's going to happen, obviously, but he wants to get away from each patch every month or every 3 months being reset, because it sounds like it's not going to be enough time to buy a ship. Yeah. So you could be 5-6 months playing just to get, and obviously the small ships, fair enough, maybe, but the decent, bigger, the decent, not that the small ships are shit, you know what I mean?
No, but they are.
The more economical ships, the more economical. We call it economical.
The bigger ships are what everyone wants. That's what else would you charge a fortune?
Everybody wants the big ones. Ships. Everybody wants the big ones, Mac. Everybody.
Well,
the Big Mac.
Big one. Everybody, it's a Big Mac, not a little Mac.
If I could only have one spaceship, I would be very happy with my Saber. If I was honest, and I would be very happy just to have my Saber. That would be fine. My Saber. If I had to have two, it would be my Cutlass and my Saber. I know it's a huge question, but my Cutlass and my Saber, I would be very, very happy with those two ships. Lots of great fun.
If I had one ship, I'd be happy with a Javelin. You know,
Javelin, just one ship. Javelin.
And whatever ships comes in with that ship at the time, I'll be happy. Just that
your little Argo. You get an Argo in there with you.
A little Argo and
for taking for landing missions. But yeah, like we're in our minds when we're talking about 3 or 4 months. Like, keep in mind that streamers play more than we ought to. So, like, for a normal player, 2 hours a night, 5 days a week, maybe, because maybe you got a job, you got a wife, you got a kids. So maybe from 9 to 11, you sit down, you play Star Citizen for a couple hours, and you make a little bit UEC. So maybe after 3 months, you'll have enough for Caterpillar.
Yeah.
After a couple of years.
I don't want the tokens. I genuinely really don't want the token system. I would rather have just an insurance system, not a token system. If they could, I really don't like the token system. I've always felt that it's kind of, you're whipping people to play the game rather than because you're punishing them rather than encouraging them to play the game. So I've always felt like the insurance system for me would be better. And also, most of the time the ships are gonna probably be blown. I just think, or just like a set block of time, like 1 week, you know what I mean? You get the ship rather than the token system of 4 or 5 days or something. I don't know. That's the same, actually, thinking about it, probably. But I don't know if I like it, but maybe it's the best of the worst. I'd have to think about it. I haven't thought about it properly yet, but
you buy one time massive buy cost and then just a little tiny insurance thing for when it blows
just
up,
a constant insurance thing, and you can claim, I don't know, just something. I don't like a more realistic system would be cooler if they want to go down that way, but we'll see what they do in the end. I won't be surprised if it's just that. Okay, so next question is from Canadian Dev, and he says, with Turbulent being an integral part of the game, what do you hope from the keynote speech at Citizencon this year?
Not Turbulent.
That's a troll question if I ever heard one.
It's gotta be.
Oh man!
Although VoIP and FOIP, that's part of Turbulence work. You know, the whole.
No, that's Spaceware. That's Spaceware. Well,
no, but I mean integrating it, yeah, and the whole
it.
Getting the Mobiglass in, or getting Spectrum into the Mobiglass and stuff. So as long as they don't come on and talk for a half hour, 20 minutes about the back end, fucking.
Okay, real talk on the podcast. I gave Chris Roberts my money to build Star Citizen. So Spectrum is like at the bottom of the priorities for me as far as I'm concerned. They do good work. Keep in mind, they do good work for what they do. But I just how much I care about Spectrum is not nearly as much as about how much I care about an interest being in the game.
I would love you guys at Turbulent to be able to, like, maybe I'm the most stupidest person, but trying to find my old posts on Turbulent is ridiculously hard. Like, I literally looked up the page and I was like, I had to Google my own post to find it, because I couldn't go into Spectrum and go, okay, here's my name, and then just go all of my posts and as a list to show, or a place where I couldn't find it for the life of me. I was looking around going, I just want to find out. I was wanting to show the old trainer sneaker, Star Citizen sneaker that I designed, because somebody wanted to talk about it, and I was like, okay, I'll try to find it, and I couldn't find it. I had to literally Google it to find it. And yeah, I would love that, please, for someone to explain how to find it, because I can't.
I would love to see more org things, and I think Turbulent are going to be behind that, having the org integrated with the website, with the game and the Mobiglass, because I want to be able to organize things with my org and have divisions and so forth, and being able to do that while I'm on the toilet or at work or in bed, as well as in game face to face.
He's got the laptop open on the headboard while he's shagging his wife. He's got his laptop on her back. Wait a minute,
let me just organize this. You just take it for a second.
Doggy Steyer's got the laptop sitting on top of her, and he says,
Can I tell you what I would love for Turbulent? I got it. I've nailed it, boys. I've nailed it. I know what I want, because it was actually on my list of things in here. I would like them to do an app for the phone that's not Spectrum based, but like a kind of something that you can use that links to your account and your character within the game, so you can do things within the game on your phone for your world. So your armor, your weapons, you can reload out your ships, you can insure your ships from your phone. You can buy ships, trade potentially goods that you've got in your hangar or in your ships from your phone. I want you to be able to play the game to a degree from your phone when you're not playing. I think would eliminate a little percentage of those people that complain all the time that they've only got a certain amount of time to play and can't do stuff, and it would stop the UEC, you know, the UEC free cap thing and buying stuff. I feel like it would be like, hey, well, actually, there's a lot of, you can make a lot of money and do other things from your phone and other places at work. You don't always have to be on the computer. That would be pretty sweet, and it would give a reason to try and maybe eliminate some of that UEC buying with real money, and because I'm not a huge fan of it. That was I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, how do I fix people from buying UEC? Because I understand people's lives are busy and they find it hard, but then if you make it so they can make money from their phone as well within the game, then maybe there's a reason, there's a way of doing that. You know?
I know they have said that they will work on an app for it where you can sort of, you know, like a tablet app where you can sort of work on your cargo manifest. You can check out the missions and things, and that'll integrate with Spectrum, will integrate with your org. But they have said on the monthly report that voice can now be sent and received from any WebRTC device like a PC, web browser, phone, or tablet. So the chances of being able to communicate between each other.
Oh, yeah.
While you are having a shit or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And sort of say, no, I told you, sell. I said, sell at that price. Like, you could be like a Wall Street trader.
Living the dream.
That would be so cool.
The dream.
Yeah.
You could be pretend Wall Street while you're working for a Wall Street trader while you're working for like the Home Despot or something. I don't know if you have those over there.
Do you think they'll have
Walmart
the voice activation like we have currently with the voice thing that we have another external company that does it? Do you think they'll bring that in so you'll be able to use VoIP to activate things in your system of your game as well, inbuilt into the game?
Open a door using my Face ID.
Well, yeah, or you can kind of talk like we do now with other systems where you talk to the computer and say arm missiles.
Well, you mean like instead of using this third party like the Nubify thing that
voice attack.
Voice attack.
Stuff.
They will maybe they.
I don't know. If, I mean, they
do
could, but why would they bother when they do it so well? You know what I mean? Like,
just buy voice attack out. Chris Roberts, buy voice attack.
Just buy voice attack.
Buy him and employ him. Yeah.
But that's what I was thinking. They kind of they've done it with the VoIP. They could the face over they've done it with that. They've implemented an external kind of technology, brought it in to do something. Maybe
what I do want though,
bring it in.
It's sort of similar but not quite the same. Is that even if you're not using VoIP, that your character's face still kind of moves. It doesn't have to be one for one, because what you're gonna find is that certain people will use VoIP and you'll be able to tell if they're talking because their face will start fucking moving. But then the people that aren't using it, are they going to be like, yes, I say we go here, let's fly, and the face is just going to be static, and you're going to be like, this is ruining the immersion. Can you start using VoIP? And they'll be like, no, I don't want to. So there needs to be like a bit of automation of the face. If people aren't using VoIP, that just looks like they're moving their lips at least. That
flapping their lips, just like a horse, like a horse eating an apple.
Lip flapper tech
animation
2.0.
Lip flapper tech.
Something like
is that coming in with the female avatars as well?
I was going there, Bendis. I was going there. Yeah,
guys. No, for fuck's sake.
Yes. I was just gonna say that.
It had to be done. I'm sorry, it was thrown. I had to knock it out the park. It was such a filthy one. It had to be said.
Do we get many female watchers around here anymore?
If they do, they're probably rolling. If they are, they're probably rolling on the floor right now.
The last of them just gone.
No, they love it. Girls, honestly, and it's a fallacy. Girls are just more filthy than blokes. I swear to God.
Maybe the type of girls you know.
Maybe, but generally, they are honest. I'm not joking. You get a bunch of lads together, they're pretty dirty. But you get a bunch of girls on a night out together, they just like tear the house down.
We all speak like proper English gentlemen. Oh yes, and then I decided to.
Well, okay. So next question.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
I lost track on the flaps. Voice of a turnip. Yeah. So I think we discussed turbulent, and I think if anyone else
can
has got
move
anything
away
good,
from turbulent?
We'll move on from turbulent
and
flapping lips and from flapping lips. Let's move on to spaceships. Let's talk about spaceships. What spaceships? We're talking briefly about some of the spaceships to expect. I know poor old Shark has been desperately wanting us to talk about the Jean ships. So I
say we just move on from that.
I will bring in the previously stuff we've seen from the interior stuff. So I got a video here. So this was what we saw before.
Is that
so
a John ship?
This was the old.
Yeah,
this was the ATV
really cool
stuff. So this was what we saw before. A lot of people, maybe some people might have not missed it because it's old ATV footage. But I'm bringing. So this was the. I'm not sure which one this is, but this is what we think will be the capital ship. Some people think was part of the capital ship. It's pretty freaking cool. And then this was like, I think this was the interface or something, because obviously they're all anti-gravity kind of technology and stuff with the NOx and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm pretty sure it will be gorgeous. What's the name of the NOx ship that we? Sorry, the Jean ship that everyone's expecting. I've forgotten.
The Prowler, I believe.
No, not the Prowler. That we had the Prowler. I've seen the Prowler. No, this is a capital ship. This is the capital ship.
We have the Cartual. I haven't heard anything about a Jean capital ship, so
yeah,
maybe it's something I missed.
This bad boy, yo, Captain Kim. It's good, man. Good, thank you. Nice to be back. And then I believe. Did I have anything else? I think I had something else, but bear with me. I'll have to try and dig it out.
We've seen like a really old
Jean missile launcher.
Let me just try and dig it. Yeah, no, we can see the ledger. It's fine. I'll see if I can dig it out. We have.
That's old, like really old.
Yeah, it's worth it into the vertical design of their ships.
It's cool. I like the fact that they do that, but that should represent their world as well. Because obviously we land because we have a flat surface. Are they landing like that? Is their worlds? Are their worlds vertical?
That was it. I got it here. Here we go. The Banu Defender.
Their worlds. Oh, the Banu Defender.
It's Defender because the Banu is the Jean, isn't it? I believe so. Or is it? No, the Banu's
being worked on now. Yeah, not the
Jean. Not the Jean. The Banu's the other one. But the Jean. I was going to say that's something that where someone was talking about salvage ship, capital ship. Mm-hmm. They talked about capital ship before. I don't know if it was a salvage capital ship. There's a lot of things that have been going on, and I'm like in terms of ships in the background, and there's a whole lot of stuff. There's the Banu Defender, obviously, is coming, which we've seen here as well. So the Banu styling, which looks pretty freaking jazzy. This was the latest picture I think we saw. It was just one. We only just saw one brief thing. It was like just the seat, wasn't it? It was kind of like in the Defender.
It's nice that they are looking into the consideration of how the Banu live to explain how they're with any alien race, but about Banu having that elaborate decor and things that they show off because it's about what they show off in the person, isn't it? That is sort of tells them who's wealthy and who's got status and whatnot.
I've had a month off, guys. Can't remember my ships. Banu and the Jean. Can't remember them. But it looks, I mean, it does look. I love the Banu styling and all the kind of the kind of organic-y. It's almost like a posh xenomorph style would be the way to describe it. It's like kind of the xenomorph is really dirty and kind of scary and creepy and all that kind of stuff, whereas the Banu is all clean and shiny, but it's still got the same organic kind of quality about it, you know? Swooping lines and stuff. Which is kind of cool, but it's hard. It's funny when I see the actual first rendition and then I see the pictures, and it's kind of like, ooh, I can't wait to see more lighting on it because at the moment it looks a little flat for me.
Yeah, it is a bit just lacking of textures and whatnot. It's just
doesn't feel alien to me when I saw it. It just feels like like a posh.
Like the 600 iPads, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. I was like, I'm not getting the alien vibe off of these guys if I'm honest, but it's only a teeny weeny section of the spaceship, so we'll see the rest of it later. But you know, it's not when you see the drawings, you know, the drawings look a lot more alien, and again back to the interior, just looks stunning. This is I think some of the stuff for the Banu, or I don't know if it was was it all the Defender?
No, it's all the Defender.
That's no, that isn't. That's the Merchantman. That's definitely the Merchantman interior. That's the Defender.
Yeah, that corridor.
I've seen that corridor. I've seen before. The concept.
And then I love all this stuff with all the kind of organic. So yeah, I've always said I'm just excited about seeing more alien stuff at Citizencon. So more alien ships, the better.
And we are going to see. That's something that is going to be at Citizencon. Is what do they call it? Biome on the range. I bet Jared comes up with these. Like when he comes up with the names of the ATVs, it's like, Jared, do you think you're being clever? It just makes it complicated to say. But it said, where was it? Biomes on the range. Where's that? Oh, that's it.
Biomes on the range.
5 o'clock. Creating the alien ecosystem. So are we going to see Jean planets? Are we going to see Banu planets? Or maybe the Van Duel style ones?
Dude, that was going to be my thing. Was it's like the next thing from ships we've seen habitats for humans, but we haven't seen any real alien world, any alien habitats, any alien cities. You know, we haven't really seen an alien. We've only seen the Van Doel in terms of actually for the first time the other day, that sneak peek with them running around. We've seen a few of them in some cinematics, but actually looking like in the game running around. That was the first time I ever saw them briefly on the ATV sneak peek. So, you know, I haven't seen any, we haven't seen any Jean actually fully made in a game, or any Banu,
that
or
could be something at Citizencon, seeing the Van Doel, seeing the, maybe not Jean or Banu. It would be nice to, but Van Doel. We haven't seen anything of the Van Doel other than that little snippet.
I think they'll keep them for Squadron 42.
Driller.
I think they'll keep that for Squadron 42.
But that's sort of pre-rendered, isn't it? You don't see them in a gaming experience where they jump down on the legs and whatnot. I think that if we get anything at CitizenCon and it's Van Doel attacking, fighting, maybe some Marines, that would be amazing.
Well, I hope. Unless if they show us Squadron 42, that's what I'd expect from Squadron 42. I think if they're showing off more of the persistent universe, I would love to see more of a trading relationship with the Banu. I'd love to see a scene where you go into a Banu ship. That would just blow people's minds, or go and trade with the Banu person, or like a scene in an actual like bit where you're trading and you're going up to seeing one of these dudes, and maybe you get to see certain things in the background, and like these kind of shop. Maybe it doesn't even have to be the actual merchantman, but it could be a shop, an alien shop with the Banu, and he's behind the desk, and you have this interaction where you maybe buy something from this person, and you get to see all of the wares and stuff. Yeah, you do a negotiation, and you get to see them again. Like I said, what I saw in Cyberpunk in terms of the world and the way we got to do stuff, I want to see something similar from Star Citizen, but not even similar, mind-blowingly better. Do you know what I mean? That experience with Alien.
I honestly, I remember seeing videos of like what to play while waiting for Cyberpunk. I'm thinking I'm going to play Cyberpunk while I'm waiting for fucking Star Citizen.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, we have seen like, I think the level of detail in terms of landing location, shops, and that sort of things are going to be beyond Cyberpunk. I mean, you look at the Banu merchantman itself. Inside, it's got layouts for multiple shops, so people could potentially rent. A bit like what you see in Firefly, the lady, escort lady.
Oh, yes.
Who sells herself. Yes. She's renting that area from the Firefly. So you'll be able to rent an area in the Banu merchantman from someone to sell your wares. And you can, like, the owner of the Banu merchantman will be like, well, we've already got a weapons dealer, an exotic weapons dealer, so we don't need you. Run along, small child. And you can get someone else in to come and sell some other stuff. But we will see the fidelity of, I'm like, filling in two conversations in one go there.
It's okay. No, it's fine. I would like to see that at CitizenCon, because this whole conversation is about CitizenCon and things that would wow us and things that would be exciting to see. I'm not going to be disappointed, I don't think, unless it doesn't reach like the expectations of what we've seen previously in terms of good, true. I mean, to be honest, I don't think it will. I don't even know why I even think it, because the reality is every CitizenCon it's great. We see more stuff. There's so much more potential that they talked about stuff they haven't delivered yet. I don't think we'll be disappointed. Honestly, I really don't. I think
I have been disappointed by a live stream, but
have you?
Not
really.
Yeah, the anniversary one, the holiday live stream.
Oh yeah, well that was so badly.
That was just like, yeah, that wasn't really. It's not the sort of event that they would show off stuff. CitizenCon has never disappointed me. Last year in Frankfurt was amazing. If they're doing more than that this year, maybe not to the extent that that Chris wanted to, we won't get into that. Then we're not going to be disappointed. Unless water's expensive at the event, then people are going to be suffering.
Well, I think you get 2 free drinks.
So
right?
I would like to say, if Chris Roberts can nail this out of the park, if Chris Roberts can do CitizenCon justice by my standards, I will stop talking about the 2016 holiday live stream forever.
I don't think we should. We should never let them forget that.
No, it's been 2 years. It's been 2 years.
Gotta let it go. Gotta let it go.
Yeah, time to let it go. Maybe
time. We have to let them off the hook a little bit. But not yet. Like I said, for me, it's the buying of ships in game. would you know, that would be literally like, oh, that's so much shit gone. That's outside of the bullshit out of the community.
Would you settle for renting though? Would you settle for that?
I'd settle for it. I'd settle for it for now. But it wouldn't stop me. I'd still be saying, you know, I'd settle for, like I said, I'd settle for renting now with a date for within the year for buying, and I'll be happy.
Or a hot patch.
I'd be
for
happy.
buying. Imagine that.
A hot patch would be fun.
Yeah.
But
I just think, persistence and economy need to evolve before they can bring proper buying in.
That's
fine. They know the importance of people not like.
I just can't think that buying would be that difficult to implement, because I could buy a ship from the web store and it's in my hangar, available in game, like damn near instantaneously, like within the hour.
Yeah.
It's like, why just put that into the actual game? It seems a bit. No, I don't know. They do tend to do things on a grand scale, and they want things to be to a certain level. Like before, I know, like the early days, you just chuck stuff in and it was shit and messy and buggy. But then they started thinking, all right, now this is a bad impression, so they need to make sure that it's to a certain degree of not finished, but at least pre-balanced finished. Like mining, we got so much more in mining than I expected. So I think with ship purchasing, persistence definitely needs to be a thing, which they know there's not a lot of.
Yeah.
Once the persistence is sorted, I'm sure we'll start seeing a bit more in terms of owning ships long term from game.
Yeah, I could totally see purchasing a reclaimer for 3 million AUEC, and then when it spawns on the pad for you to fly it off, it's missing everything. Missing its doors, it's missing its engines. You spend
like, what the fuck?
And then you have to spend, if you want another one, it's spend another 3 million. I mean, and Chris Roberts is going to turn around and says, "Well, that's what happens. He's the crooked ship dealer. Like, what'd you expect? Fidelity, bro. Like, you just got ripped off."
Do you think? Here's a question: with face over, the ability to scan yourself into the game and all the rest of it, do you think Chris will put himself into the game?
Damn right he will.
He's already in the game. He's already has a poster you can put up in your hangar. He's got a poster of his face in there, and I think one of the faces you can pick.
No, right now. Are you thinking of
like a mission giver?
The Wingman.
No, there's Wingman's in there. Wingman's in there, but Chris Roberts has his face in there too. I can go find it.
No, it's not as a poster. I mean, actually, as an actual NPC character.
Like I reckon he will.
I reckon he will. He always loves.
There's no way he's not going to put himself in his own game.
Okay.
He was in Wing Commander the movie. He was in Wing Commander 4 for a cameo at the very end. I can't remember if he was in Wing Commander 3.
Do you think Sandy will be in it as well?
Yeah, she's already confirmed.
She's already confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's already
in physical, like, or not just voice, but actual. The real will look like Sandy.
I don't know about. I would have thought so, but she's part of the Squadron 42 cast.
That's what I say. Do you think she'll be slightly? Do you think because of all the crap that's happened to step away? You think it will be her face?
Okay. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. I hope that they're both prepared for the heavy amount of garbage that could be potentially made using their faces in games, right?
I hope memes.
The memes.
All of the memes that are coming. If you start putting your face in game, like Mac, I'm pretty sure they should have had that on the disclaimer when everyone signs to get in the game. Mac, it's like literally you are signing away. So
you must be okay with
any
memes.
Rights. You must. It's literally. All sorts of stuff could be happening to your face.
We may stick a penis on your face.
Who knows? Who knows?
I'm fine with that. If I'm in the game, I don't mind.
It's a small price to pay, right?
I've done worse things.
So I was going to say the last bit on the Citizencon that we talk about is the scout ship. It's the scout ship, the Kraken, which is Board Gamers kind of talks about it. A few other people talked about it. It's kind of the I guess if you were to say the hot bookie's favorite for Citizencon running right now is the Kraken, based on the obviously the next Drake ship competition that happened a while ago, where we had 3 ships. And I think there's a few other ships that were in the running that have already been released, the H2 and a few other ships. I have a question. Yeah, the Vulture, obviously, which we've seen as the salvage ship, which is great. I still think that the Corsair. The Corsair. Now, which one's that one?
That was supposed to be the Drake constellation equivalent, which I believe turned into the Mercury. So
it turned into the Mercury. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's what I was curious about.
The Corsair kind of fit the Mercury's description as a constellation. It was constellation-ish ship that was like exploration, that kind of stuff. But I don't know. So the Corsair is still up in the air, I think. It may, and like I said, that was just a rumor I heard that the Corsair turned into the Mercury. But we may see the Corsair. But the Kraken is a crowd favorite. The scout carrier be able to pal around 4 freelancer-sized ships inside of a bigger ship.
It only just narrowly lost to the Vulture. That's how much I know it's a favorite. If you actually look at the numbers, the Vulture won on 44%, the Drake Scout Carrier was on 37%, and then the Explorer was on 19%, which I find quite interesting. It obviously shows you that what was easier to make. Obviously, the Corsair, because I guess it's a much smaller ship. Because obviously, it came out, the concepts come out faster than the Kraken at 20%. But the fact that that's so popular, I think I can see why it's the hot favorite. Basically, is what I'm saying. I expect that, but I know that they'll release other ships. They always do.
Oh yeah,
at these events. They
every ship. Every time they've done a poll like this, where they ask the community, "What ship do you want to see next?" They always make every ship on the poll.
Yeah,
eventually.
Yeah. It makes sense. Like, why wouldn't they? You know, in terms of if they see the amount of interest in these things. And ultimately, it's kind of saying like it's kind of like giving a baby a rattle and taking it away, and then slapping the baby. Nobody wants to slap a baby, so
what? Where does this come from?
Why would you give them the option of this idea, this concept of a ship? Because that's part of the ship pipeline, is the concepting of the ship, not like the image, but the design of what it is to be. So that takes time, it takes resources. So if they offer that up as an option, and then they're like, okay, well, that one won, so we're not going to do the rest of them. It's just a waste of resources. They might as well publish those ships because they're still ships that we need.
Well, my guess, CIG is trying to figure out how much interest there will be for the concept sale. Like, if they see a good portion of the community put their votes down on the poll, they're like, okay, there's enough people who put down votes. We can probably sell this as a concept. But if a ship just doesn't get enough interest on this poll, if they don't see a lot of people voting in the poll, they're probably like, okay, maybe we shouldn't bother with these ships.
Yeah, so it's probably not indication, isn't it? A marketing indication.
Yeah, that's kind of what I suspect.
I mean, I always say the entry level ships will predominantly win because they're cheaper. If you do these polls, whatever's cheaper will ultimately win, I believe, because that's just the majority of the people don't want to spend more than $60 or whatever, or $40 even for a spaceship. Let's be honest. But there's a lot of the whales are more than happy to spend $400 and above on an amazing, beautiful, huge new big shiny capital ship.
That's why I voted for the Vulture, because I'm just tired of seeing these stupidly expensive ships out there that, like the Reclaimer. Like, we need some of the more lower tier profession ships so people can kind of dip their toes into a profession and are a mining, like a prospector sized salvage ship. Yeah, that way people can dip their toes into it at a lower cost, and they'd be like, oh, I kind of really don't like salvaging. I'm going to go try mining, and they find mining more their taste. Or then they can do mining for a little bit and like, oh, maybe I'll try salvaging again. They come back around to salvaging. And it's just like, oh, you know what, this salvaging stuff. And I was doing it wrong first. I read some articles and I've watched some videos and I kind of know how to do it now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting because like, we're talking about the Jean ship in chat there and the salvage ship. I mean, we've already got the Reclaimer. We've already got the Vulture in theories. I mean, the idea of having an alien salvage ship, do you think people, I mean, if it looks good, do you think people will be excited for that? Or do you think, what level would you put it at? High? What level would you put it at is what I was going to say, that ship. Do you know, would you put that as in the middle tier ship? So you have your entry, then you have the Jean kind of middle level salvage ship, then you have your big Reclaimer to fill the gap, as it were, in the stepping stones of salvage profession, you know.
It would all determine by the aliens themselves, because they're not like, you know, they're not humans. So are they interested in salvage as a race, first and foremost? If they are, like the Vandal, we know they are, because a lot of their ships and their equipment are like mangled resources that they found.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and troll. I'm going to go ahead and troll the person in chat. I'm going to say we're probably going to see a Vandal salvaging ship before we ever see a Jean one.
That's what I was going to say.
Just because of Mac. Just because of Mac.
Just the driller. Is the driller like the harvest? Or
the harvester. Harvester.
We'll probably see a space-based harvester.
Whether like the things like certain Banu, I don't think we'll see a Banu one because they like high expense stuff. Whether we see a Banu that is really bothered about salvaging, I don't know. Jean, I don't know if we know enough about them to determine whether they will be interested in salvaging or not. It would be nice to think maybe, not all of them, not every race, but it would be nice to think maybe one race is also into salvaging, and you can have a salvager from that race that has its own aesthetic and whatever.
Well, that's
why not?
Well, I would expect the aliens, all the alien races, to have a fairly filled out roles for their ships. I have a cargo ship, a fighting ship, a capital ship of some kind, and then maybe a minor salvager kind of ship, kind of an industrial ship of some kind that you see flying around in their space. But that would be, if anything, Chris Roberts would probably push that off much further into the year. But it's if Chris Roberts is listening, here's potential concepts you could sell. You know,
well, this
industrial ships for other alien races, right?
He sell. I mean, if he sold, I mean, everything he's made is predominantly, apart from a few things, is predominantly human based. If you flip that and just made, you got 3 other races and you made the same concept sales on all of those, you're looking at, if you were doing the math in terms of numbers, and if it wasn't a time-based thing, like if everyone was happy and we weren't pissing everyone off, just you could easily be looking at another 200, another 400 million, if you were to go off the same kind of like, we'll just carry on
stuff.
Yeah, just the basic stuff, just sell them all again.
Heavy fighter,
just sell it all again.
Small cargo ship, large cargo ship, like the whole, like a freelancer size cargo ship, a whole C size or whole B sized or whole E size cargo ship for those alien races, a salvage ship, a mining ship, a large salvage ship, a large mining ship, and capital ships. There you go. There's every alien race times 3.
They did say, though, they have said that they don't want to make a small, medium, and large ship for every profession, even just human ships, because it just seems to. I can't remember the reasoning, but they did say they're not going to do that. You're not going to see a small, medium, large in every profession.
Until they see the dollar signs, Mac. Until they see the dollar signs. That does change people's minds pretty quickly.
By what now?
You mean we can make another 300 million from selling these ships? No problem, sir. We'll do this. I think the only problem with that is, honestly, is the time factor, and I think the community would be the majority would have left the game. There would only be the whales left. I think it would be a dead game for sure, as it is already kind of heading a little bit at the moment. But yeah, I don't think it'll happen, but it was just interesting to discuss aliens. We have a lot more to talk about this evening, so I'm looking at the time going, we'll kind of ramp on. If anyone, we've got 2 questions which we'll go through a little bit later. I just wanted to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Daniela Burke. I know it's Texas Skulls, by the way, everyone. I know he's a guy, but I love saying Daniela because he's obviously got bored. He's obviously got bored of being called Daniela because he is now organizing a competition to come up with a new domain name, which is really funny. So everyone enter. I was going to say everyone enter and troll the shit out of him and suggest that his next one should be called Daniela again, so that he can't get away.
Let's call it.
He is not allowed to
Sheila
escape
or something.
He is
Sheila,
not allowed
Sue,
to escape.
Something. Just all women's names.
And so, for anyone who doesn't know what I'm about, I'm just going to bring over the link so you can see it here. So it's a good prize. It's a good chance to win. But if we keep calling it Daniela, he keeps giving out ships to everybody. He has to keep doing new competitions to try and change the name so everybody wins. He just keeps having to give everybody ships. So next one needs to be another girl's name. Forever and ever and ever. He's trapped. So yeah, name cost, and you have a chance to win the Citizencon concept ship. So could be the Kraken, could be something else, who knows. He's also doing a $100 giveaway, I think, or a $50 giveaway for other things here. I think it says here, honorable mentions will receive a $100 gift card. Also be drawing a random user to report a price. User will be logged in. So lots of goodies to be had from Daniela, or Texas Skulls, as we like to call him. But yeah, troll him. Make sure that he has to stick with the girl's name. He's not allowed to get away. He's trying to escape it. Love you, Texas.
Oh, right. Look at this. There's the comes out.
Revealed.
Right, okay.
Behind the scenes work.
Oh, the work that goes in is a massive, like I say, for anyone that's like, this is a chunk. We're probably not going to get through all of it. We'll probably go and talk about some of these things in other podcasts, as this ATVs are pretty skinny. But there's a few things here that I wanted to show off. The atmospheric scattering. Okay, I just want to show everybody how good. This is a very positive podcast today, so I really want to show off how good CIG is and the things that are coming. So here's an example on the right. That's a real Mars picture, and on the left is the game. Just to show like it's even probably better. It's so realistic. The scattering. This is to do with the scattering and how accurate it is in terms of the feel of kind of like a real. If you're on a real Mars or a real kind of planet at the moment, how it looks like. So it's gonna be epic. That's what I mean. And then with ray tracing in the future at some point, it's just going to get better and better.
That would be nice, yeah. Firstly, it'd be nice to be able to afford a graphics card like that, but either way, one day.
Oh, yeah, it's my bot. It's Nurse is my bot. Harley. Sorry, for people that are new. Yes, Harley is my bot. She's lovely. I play female characters in games, so it's no problem for me.
She has flappy lip tech, doesn't she?
She does. She does.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Sorry,
so
something that they have said that they're going to start doing is the planet shadow tech. So
wasn't Jigglytech showed off for a little bit?
Jigglytech. I don't think I've got a picture of it. Jigglytech.
Yeah.
Has anyone got a link to the Jigglytech?
What they've said recently about having planet shadow tech and not tech, but planet shadow shaders or something like that. Instead of having the current, which is, if you've noticed, the shadows on planets are quite sporadic at times and the lighting can be different. So having this whole planet shader, which works better than, instead of having like little sections, I think it will make a big difference in visuals for planets, lighting wise. And like they say, you can make a really nice environment and light it badly and it ruins it, or you can have a really shit environment lit well and it actually makes it look semi-decent. That's exactly quoted from what they said.
Sorry, Nurse Harley slapping some people in chat. Shocking behaviour.
She's banning them all.
She's slapping them. Just outrageous. She'll deal with you later.
Outrageous.
Bug expectations for 3.3. Because we're talking about good. I know it's negative, but let's just say
expectations.
What do you expect? What bugs? We talked about the stuttering. Do you think there's any? Do you think there'll be anything? If you had to,
there's those little gas things with those tentacles that fly around Lorville. Yeah. Those things are nightmare fuel. I swear to God. If Chris Roberts doesn't put a flamethrower in soon, I'm not going to be able to go to Hurston ever.
Do need flamethrovers.
They're pretty creepy. Those things, aren't they? They're kind of like
omnicrabs, aren't they? I think omnicrabs.
Omnicrabs. That's what they call them.
I think so. Yeah.
Do you think? I wonder what it will be like. Do you think it'll be like a weird kind of clusterfuck? They'll all be like the NPCs all gathered in one area, like a swarm of bees or something.
They like the junk biomes. They eat the junk. Somehow, or the scrap metally shit. I don't know what they eat, but they eat something along those lines. So you've got to find them in that junk biome. And if you go traipsing in, like, I'm going to find me some salvage. And then all of a sudden you're surrounded by these little capybaras from like Jurassic Park. Then
you're in trouble.
It's going to be like that.
They're deadly. They're deadly.
Scavengers, aren't they?
Do you think you'll be? Do you know what will happen? Is I know people are going to be dropping their cutlasses and trying to scoop them up or something and take them off to places.
Spread them around.
Just spread them all over the place. I wonder if they'll die. Do you think they'll die? Do you think they'll die if you take them off of their area or into another planet or something?
Maybe. Yeah. Well, good question. Put a space helmet around it.
I wonder.
How do they move then?
Well, they just float, as far as I can tell. They seem to just float around. But
Christians, they're the gas powered. Exactly, West. They fart their way around.
I was gonna say they fart really hard to float. Yeah. I was gonna say that.
Oh my God!
What size anuses do they have equipped? Wow. Is it S1 size anus they have to equip to do that?
2 T1 anuses.
Oh my God!
Or one medium size. It's up to you. You can upgrade them.
Upgrade your anus.
Upgradable pets.
Upgradable pet tech.
Upgradable pet tech.
Get that flappy lip tech on them.
It's only $5 extra to upgrade your anal brain bug. Wow. In case you all missed us.
Oh my God.
I'd buy one of them if they
You don't get this on the Redacted podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Jesus. Trading. Okay. So moving on to something serious, because we've got to get away from flaps and anals. Do you think trading will be reputation based? Trading.
Partly, I think most trading will be done by just going to a trader, but then there will be certain traders that maybe you unlock from having a bad reputation or a very good reputation. Like if you are, if you're a thief, you'll need a fence. So you'll need some form of trader that would not necessarily go, I'm a fence if you want to sell shit. I don't mind. So yeah, it'll be mostly just based on, traders will be everywhere, but there will be reputation-based traders, like the mission givers.
This was supposed to be a sophisticated return, a new asylum. I should have changed the name really, so the clue is in the name. It's madness.
Oh my god,
there's madness in here. Big news, guys. Actually, I forgot to say, really big news. For anyone that's missing Tessa, there is a place you can go which has all of the dialogue and recordings of Tessa's talking. So if you are feeling that loss of Tessa, there's someone's collected all of the dialogue of Tessa, so you can get her back again. Because I know a few people. There was a thing I think recently. I think Jared actually said pretty hardcore exactly what I think we're all saying is when someone's saying, "Oh, we want to bring her up to the fidelity of all the other characters," and he's like, "Why not just have her as the voice still? That's kind of what everyone loved. Like keep her as a mystery. Don't reveal her. Keep her as like we don't know who she is. Maybe she's an AI. Maybe she's an alien. Maybe she's a 10-ton Tessa.
I think they should.
Maybe she's an AI. She's Skynet."
Exactly. Just keep it as a surprise.
I think they should keep her as a voice. I think it'll ruin it if we had a body. Because everyone's got their own idea, and it's not going to be the same for everyone.
Yeah. I fall asleep to those missions every night. I have a little tape recorder next to my bed. I hit play.
Yeah, let's keep.
I just can't remember the dialogue. Can someone quote? Can one of you guys quote it?
We'll start bacons. I can't remember.
We'll start a vote. We'll keep Flappy Tessa alive. That's what I'm saying in game.
Flappy Tessa. Why is she all of a sudden Flappy?
I don't know. I just said she could be Flappy. In my head, I'm thinking Flappy now. In my head, because she's not a real person, so she could be whatever we want her to be. That's the best thing
for the Flappy tech.
She could be. Who knows? Who knows?
Jesus Christ!
Oh, God, it's descending into. All right, okay. Monthly studio report.
No, sorry. Do we know?
This is what is positively madness.
This is
what you wanted.
Madness. Yeah.
This is not salty madness. This is positive madness.
This is positive.
One or the other.
Happy people. We've got a question. We'll go through the question before we go into other things. This is from Crew 891. He says, and he's probably been sat there waiting for ages. Thoughts on syncing the pipeline of places like Lorville, Grimhex, Levski with the AI locomotion and interaction system. The hype, and then he goes on. That was the first thing I think I wanted to say, which we could talk about that briefly if you want to. I think having more transportation links. I think they showed us briefly on the Idris or the Javelin was going to be so big that they've had an internal locomotion system. So we've already got it a little bit Levski, haven't they? So I'd love to see more of that stuff. Will you guys?
Yeah.
It's like
just do it work too.
Yeah.
Instead of just, let me fall through the floor and die.
Syncing it up.
Look forward to the bugs of that.
That would be great.
Getting locked into the tram.
He goes on.
Broken escalator. A broken escalator is just a set of stairs.
Don't we have somebody in chat who's an expert?
A death box.
Someone's an
expert.
Is
a death trap now.
Elevator. Elevator. We've got an elevator expert in chat, I think, at some point somewhere, haven't we?
I'm looking for him to elevate the conversation here.
Exactly, he's trying, but he's not probably interested. He keeps bringing it down. The hype to new landing places is always high, but after 10 minutes you saw everything and you're done. For me, it makes more sense to hype up those places right now without the interactions being there, which I think we talked on earlier. We really said that, for some of us old school guys, we want the gameplay in the game. We want them to talk about that more than just the visuals. The visuals is fine, but we know it'll look beautiful, but we want to see more of interactions.
Can't you?
Yeah, very much.
The looks of things,
very much so. Next question is from Shark. She Anadia. For some reason, I think of a girl when I think of this name. I do apologize, but no, it's not. It's a bloke. Anadian Shark. Can Rice Maiden sell the plans to laser cut and 3D print the pieces yourself, or would that also be illegal for him to do so? I don't think so. I think it's because he gives it away for free. He gives it away for free. I think you can get the plans off him and you do it yourself.
Well, yeah, I've talked to Rice Maiden in person, and I think we've talked about that kind of stuff. Like you can actually do what he does with the models, the 3D models in Star Citizen. You can extract the data files and actually do it yourself.
He'll give you the files.
He's not shy about he's not shy about giving the stuff out.
Yeah, He'll give you the files. I spoke to him. He gave me the.
Well,
he was happy to give
giving out the actual models.
Yeah.
No,
Confuse the two.
No, he'll give you the files, the digital files, so you can create your own.
Models, like no.
You can make it yourself. He won't. He will if you pay him, and he's able to, he will make the model and send it to you. He will do that.
That's not.
You can't say that. You have to.
He will do it.
It has to be a donation.
Madness.
He'll do
Jesus
it.
Christ.
You can't do that.
He'll do it. He'll do it if you give him the money. No, mind
the advocacy will be on here.
The advocacy will do it. No, he will give you the. He'll give you the. He'll give you the files. You don't have to pay for them. He'll give you the files.
Yeah, the files.
But no, but he will do that as well.
Require though.
Spammed with all these emails.
He said to me when I asked him if he'd do it. He said he couldn't do it, but he was But he said he would send me the files so that I could make because I won the competition, because I was like, I really want to have the trophy that I won, and I was like, I'll pay for it. I won the freaking trophy. I'd like to have one, a copy, even a miniature version of it would be nice, because I didn't have anything.
A miniature version of a miniature ship.
Just something, just something.
Just smaller, little.
But he's super busy. Yeah, he's super busy. So he said he'd come around to it at some point, but yeah, that was ages ago. But he will give you the files to make your own. Okay, so you can make your own. You can make your own. He will do that. It's totally cool.
You can design the plans yourself and stop being so damn lazy.
Yeah, that's one.
I know. Get good.
Yeah.
What do you? Okay, so this question is from. Okay, so the question was from SquarePeg. He says, what do you think the road to release presentation at Citizen will be about? I kind of already said it. A bit earlier in the show. I think it will be just I hope it's like a more in-depth gameplay mechanic show-off of being able to eventually buy a spaceship.
No. He's talking about the
release.
Final,
the release. Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, the very final thing that's like the intro that Chris Roberts, the opening keynote is one thing.
Oh, I know.
But the road to release will be likely a breakdown of from now till release of
Squadron 42,
Squadron 42, a beta, alpha, 1 version 0 of
4.0.
Oh, do you know what? Like I feel like, when you I feel my if I was a cartoon character right now, I would be Venom. Or Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, because the salt part of me right now is bubbling insanely under the surface, literally fighting. I feel like Doctor Strange, the Nazi guy with the hand. He's like trying to pull it down. Hey, mein Führer! It's like I feel like that right now, because
there are so many other choices you could have gone with there.
Yeah, I know, right? I just went for the really bad one.
The
worst one. Hey, that was a brilliant movie. That was fantastically.
That was a brilliant movie.
So funny. But for me, I'm going to try and refrain salt a little bit, and I'll wait until something bad else happens from CJ, then I'll spill it. But I worry because I don't want it to be just a load of guff. You know what I mean? That's my kind of like my. It's going to be.
It's going to be the road to release the production schedule for Squadron 42.
Yeah,
the roadmap for Squadron 42.
The roadmap for Squadron 42.
I would be fucking hyped for that, even if it was just an hour showing us the roadmap for Squadron 42 and the release. Because they did say that they're planning to do the roadmap for Squadron 42.
We're going to get a committee together to make the decision on whether we're going to initiate the procedural to make a decision to release the roadmap announcement. Vote or something like that. That's what I feel like this is going to be.
But you got to pay $20 to get access to it.
Oh, fuck you. You got to go there, Mac. You got to go there.
Yeah, I swear, yeah. In this moment, I wish I could literally change into an alter ego and come back on stage as the evil version of Madness and say, this is the Salt Madness, and then there's the Nice Madness, like two characters. And just come in and tell you exactly what I think.
Your character and get me all nicey, and then just be like...
completely switch it up. That would be quite
funny.
He's only
little, but he's mad.
It could lead to a psychological break in real life, which is the reason why I probably steer clear of it. But
probably don't do that.
It's not a good idea. Not a good idea.
Don't do that.
Take heroin instead.
But I honestly, I don't want to presume to think what that's about. It could be all sorts of things. So I will wait until I see it.
Yeah.
It's my cop out on that one. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to cop out on that one. I'm literally.
It's half an hour. It could be anything.
Oh God!
I hope it's not dates about finished games.
That's what makes it. That's what makes it so dangerous. It could be literally anything with Chris Roberts.
Yeah.
It could be something amazingly important, or it could be just this little minor, oh, we have a new concept, road to release the Carrack or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Road to release. It could be, I mean, I've said this before, like I was saying on Twerk, I was saying about, you know, maybe we'll get Idrises in Arena Commander as like a game map where you have 2 Idrises and you can fight them.
Capture the Idris.
Or capture the Idris or whatever, you know, them or Bengal or whatever, you know, maybe they'll, you know, Road to Release will be talking about when we get capital size ships in game. That could be what it could be about, you know, it could be talking about
the road to release the Idris.
Yeah, Road to Release Squadron 42 would be my natural, based on that sentence, would be what I would expect it to be, especially judging on the fact, like I say, Cyberpunk's already doing pre-orders on their game. That game is going to be out single player, doing all the things that Star Citizen Squadron 42 in theory was talking about as a sci-fi game, and in an expanded universe with not only very complicated AI subsumption, well, I say very complicated, people could argue with me, but complicated subsumption missions that are side missions that will probably, if you know Witcher 3, are as complicated and as diverse and glorious to play as the real story campaign, whereas Squadron 42 is going to be rails all the way down the line because it's a cinematic experience and they want you to feel like you're in a movie and you come out at the end of it with a great story and you move into the multiplayer world. That's the way I look at it. It's not, I don't think they're going to have really complicated side stories. It's all going to be.
I disagree with you there. I think Cyberpunk's they're going to have side stories and they're going to have, you know, side quests and main quests. And this main quests are going to be pretty much on rails, so you get all the cinematic stuff. You know, your character, they're going to take control of your character at certain points in the story, and they're going to make you look at stuff. And I think Chris Roberts wants to build big set pieces for you to kind of fly around or through or over.
Who here's played Witcher 3?
The demo I got from him.
Who's properly played the way through Witcher 3 for like longer than like an hour or two? Who's played actually? Like,
I haven't. I did 15 minutes.
I'm still into it.
I need to go back.
I was into it, and I still have nowhere near completing.
I think if you wanna really understand, I think the complexity of their side missions, feel free to drop in and watch me stream Witcher at some point, or play it yourself, because I think it's. I agree with you what you're saying, HC, in terms of like they will have obviously the cinematic single player story, but if you've ever played Witcher 3 through all the way through the first game and played even the side missions or the extra those side missions that they do are tremendous. Like way, honestly, you can't believe how in depth I played more side missions. A bit like when you play Skyrim, you know, all the side missions and you go off and you're doing all these other missions over left, right, and center. They are just so in depth, some of them, and the text and the lore, and it's incredible.
Yeah, don't think Witcher 3 is just going to be a sort of like I'll just play this for a little while.
No way. No, you gotta. It's fantastic.
You might as well sell your kids.
That, you know,
might as well sell the kids.
Yeah, they've set a standard, and that standard that they've set, I believe, firmly will be in Cyberpunk. So I think that's why I think Squadron 42 needs to come out round about the same time, because they could be late to the party.
Well, to be honest, I don't think Squadron 42 is ever going to be late to the party, because it's irrelevant when they like.
Have you seen Rebel Outlaws?
Year that they release, you are.
You seen Rebel Outlaw? The trailer for that.
Oh yeah. They do Rebel Galaxy game.
Rebel Galaxy.
No, it's not telling me. The whole that bounty hunter is shite.
Well, it's a smaller studio.
There's my bounty. Oh, he looks mean. I'm gonna run away, and I can't even fly away because I get shot down. Useless fucking bounty.
I saw that and I thought to myself, it'll do one or two things. It'll be the freelancer game that everybody wanted to come out again. The Star Citizen game it looked like the Star Citizen game that was originally pitched way back when, and it could be the justification for CIG of why they never released that type of looking game and why they've moved on to the game it is now. It could be the justification, and they say, hey, look, if we'd released what you originally wanted, it would be this. You're now getting this, so shut up and enjoy what you're getting now, because it's a million times better. That's the way I look at that.
Squadron 42 is going to be a game stopper no matter what. It's going to be like, as soon as that's released, everyone will be like, holy shit, bullshit, they actually managed to release it. So it's people are going to jump on that shit. In fact, a lot of this bad press, I'm calling it now, a lot of this bad press is going to turn out to be good press for CIG, because it's becoming such a meme that people will be like, oh, is that game that was never going to release? Oh, it's released. And it doesn't even have to be Star Citizen. Squadron 42 can release, and we'll be like, is that the game that everyone says isn't going to release? And it will. And everyone will be like, holy crap, this is amazing. If this is what the single player game's like, imagine the multiplayer. And it doesn't matter what year it's released. I don't think anything can catch up to it just yet. But ultimately, time of year is important. Like releasing it towards Christmas is a good idea because you're going to generate more sales.
This we could talk about. I want to talk about this. You brought up a excellent point. It's not the time of year. It doesn't depend what time of year it releases because no one's going to catch up to it. The reason why is we're not seeing a lot of innovation in the industry. I firmly believe that the video game industry itself has stagnated quite a bit. We're seeing a lot of the innovation coming from the indie scene. With like the survival games. Minecraft came out of fucking nowhere and just swept everybody up. Battle Royale games came out of fucking the indie scene, swept everybody up. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Arma. It was a mod for Arma. Then H1Z1, I believe, bought up the Battle Royale game. And then PlayerUnknown splintered off from H1Z1 and built PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And then Fortnite came out. And then now all the big AAA indie games, EA, Activision, they're trying to copy that formula now. And all these big name publishers, they're no longer innovating anymore.
All you just looking at with these big companies.
I agree 100% with you, HC.
All they're doing is competing with each other, and they're holding off tech that they're working on because they just want to be above each other to make those sales each year. Star Citizen is jumping the tech because of the method that they're using. They don't have to compete with anyone. They're trying to produce the best game they can produce with the current tech and future tech. Well, these big games, the indie genre, the indie games are the ones that are leading the way, and Star Citizen is the head of that. Regardless of what they think about it as the current status, the tech that they are producing and the game they're producing is way above anything out there.
I go back to Battlefield 5, the beta right now. Even the gameplay that's in there right now is not breaking, or legendary.
It's Battlefield 1 with extra bits.
No, they've taken the same formula for the entire Battlefield series, and they've just kind of changed the ingredients a little bit. Instead of giving us vanilla cake with coconut sprinkles and strawberries, we have chocolate cake with, cappuccino.
They've changed Battlefield from 3, 4 to 1. They've changed it completely.
Yeah,
Battlefield 3 was a proper military style game. I enjoyed that like hell because it was tactical. They're going more down the arcadey route, and that's what a lot of they're going to where the money is because the producers want to make money. Ultimately, they're making money. That's the whole game. That's what they're doing.
And that's what I say about why there's no innovation. They're innovating for the sake of making money. That's not wrong. Chasing a paycheck, there's nothing wrong with that. The idea you want to make money, that's not wrong. But there's no innovation in that. You're not making any risks. The Battlefield 5 in my mind should have gone like World War II online. They should have gone bigger. They should have been more ambitious. It could have been they could have gone back to the Battlefield where they started bigger. They could have had more space, more players. But it's like what 32 versus 32, 16 versus 16. They're not really expanding anything.
Do you know what though, HC? Like I see like. What? I've always looked at this, and I completely agree with everything you said. 100% agree with you. And to be honest, this is nothing new. It's been since the dawn of time in almost any industry. In the gaming industry, it happened as well. You'd have the cycle of, like, if you think about games and gaming companies that rose as indie games and then became big and died, and new indie games were formed as people fractured off, started new gaming communities, innovated, created new games, people moved on to that. It's been going on forever. There's just some big mammoths that have come along, like your EA games or whatever else. But the truth is once you get big, you climb a ladder, you have a lot of shit to lose. Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem with these companies. They've got huge staffs on board.
They don't want to take too much of a risk.
They got to be careful how they take the risk. So in a way, whereas an indie company to a degree has to take the risk because they have to be innovative, they have to be different. Otherwise, they will pale in by comparison to these huge studios. So they have to. So the
problem with that though is EA always kills their franchises. Always. Mass Effect, Command and Conquer, Dragon Age, like Wing Commander, EA has.
They do kill their tech, but they make it last for years, for decades, and that's the difference. They have X amount of tech that they spread out instead of producing.
No intellectual properties. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about like the Frostbite engine they have. I'm talking about their intellectual properties that they're doing nothing with right now. Star Wars. It's just. They have these if they play it safe, they can make these games, like Dead Space. They could have played it safe and made it like a niche horror game every year. Instead, they decided to make it more Dead Space. They made it into like more of a third-person shooter. which is more accessible for everybody, but nobody wanted that for the Dead Space series.
But
now we're really going. Off the rails here.
Yeah, I know, but we're going off the rails. But it's okay. But in terms of like, I agree with what you're saying, and I definitely don't disagree with it. I think you're spot on with if indie games and like Star Citizen ultimately was an indie game startup, kind of showed it's already shown the potential of space games again. The demand was there, similar to Project Red. You know, everyone EA was saying single player games are dead. No one gives a shit about this shit. No one's going to watch this. It's all multiplayer. And then guess what happened? Freaking suddenly these guys came in and released, you know, Witchers and other games and said, fuck you, this is bullshit. People still love single player games. You're wrong. And you know, it's definitely the indie. I mean, I've been playing some indie games. I played Far Long Sails the other day, and I've been looking at all these old 2D games and stuff because I've been wanting a more puzzle, more interesting gameplay experience rather than just the usual just log in, shoot at something. I had an absolute blast playing Far Long Sails. It's a very short little indie game where you have the little sail thing and the little thing goes across, but there's a few puzzles in there. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's a beautiful drawing art style. I like the Ori forest game as well. Yeah, love that game. Beautiful game. And I love some of these not old school games, but just indie companies, and they make you think and stuff. Big fan of it. Star Citizen was that. It's become a bit more of a behemoth recently. I think that's also slowing. It's kind of maybe one of the reasons it slowed down a little bit on its speed. Maybe it's become a little bit too fat, too chunky around the sides.
Chunky
monkey, but maybe it's not chunky for the scale of what they're trying to achieve. Maybe it's still the lean, young, athletic, skinny thing because trying to make this huge, complicated game for us. We'll have to see. I'm excited.
At the end of this year, and it's the end of this year. I'm telling people, like, I'm excited for 3.3. I'm excited for Citizencon. I'm more excited for 3.3.2 when they kind of nail things down a little bit tighter. After everything's settled down. But I'm definitely interested to see what's going to end up when 3.4 comes out the end of this year, January 1st, 2019. What is the state of Star Citizen Persistent Universe going to be? That's where I'm looking this year. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm really interested in.
No, I completely agree with that. I'm very excited in it. When to see end of the year.
Will my heart be able to take?
It's
be able to take it.
As part of the community, you've sort of gone from this. You're in this sort of state of amazing hype, and everything is just like your viewer numbers, your YouTube followers, view count is just like skyrocketing. And then suddenly they get into this point where CIG are starting to make errors, and things aren't going smoothly, and the tech is getting very dangerous, and people are losing faith, and then it starts going down. Then all you find is you're defending the game from people jumping in, and you're banning people named Star Citizen as a scam. And then it starts coming up, and then no, it's not quite there. And then like for the whole, like since I started doing content, it's been like this. It has literally been like this, where you have these major highs, major lows, and then you're teetering at this sort of level where it's a bit sort of slightly dull because nothing's really changing. Yeah. But I feel the end of this year is where it's coming in.
And that's
we say that every year.
Big problems.
We do say that every year.
We
do. We not you. We all say that every year.
3.3 soon.
Every year because of sorry. He's like desperately trying to get in his little space. Go on, go. I'll say.
Well, that's one of the problems with the current patch. We've been playing essentially 3.0 for like 6 months, 6-7 months. Yeah. And it's the same play space, the same missions, less bugs, better frames, more stability. But it's been 3.0, just slowly getting better. And a lot of that's been kind of, the drag parachute on everybody. It's just like, we're logging in. It's the same games, same people, same play space, some of the same bugs, but slightly better frames, that kind of stuff. But anyways, go ahead, Matt.
No, it's the same thing. I think we do have to have reality check is like, the reality is very much exactly the cycle that Mac has said. I think we've hit, the lowest point in my personal time was the Digitalpass. I think it really kind of crushed in terms of for the reasons I've said on Captain's Table, a lot of stuff. And
I'm not going to touch that either. I
kept a real low level. That's a real low, very low. And I think obviously Citizencon will be a big high back again. Will bring us all the way back up again to a nice high point, I'm sure, leaning in. And it's very close to Christmas time, and we'll get out at the end of the year, and I think it will be a real big buzz and energy. Again, they're very clever where they place it, because then we'll then have a big buzz and movement of like, yeah, we're all excited. Next year is going to be the year. It's going to be the best year ever. But I genuinely believe 100%. If you look at the timetable and you look at the schedule and you look at the time frame, they need to release, in my opinion, Squadron 42 next year, end of next year. And if it's not out in the end of next year, it needs to be out summer of the following year. If it's not out by within that period of time, I think the people that have they've got very few then legs to kind of justify. I can't see how they can start to justify why a single player game can't realistically be released within, and that will be genuinely within a good. We were talking 5 years at least. Then, let
me touch on that a little bit. They talked about the difference between client-side OCS and server-side OCS. We need client-side OCS to improve frame rate and load times. That's required for Squadron 42. If you look on the roadmap right now, they're pushing AI heavily, heavily pushing AI, and that is going to be required for Squadron 42, a single player game. The AI has to be good to make it interesting. Yeah. So I think a lot of the technology, a majority of the stuff on the roadmap right now is because they want Squadron 42 out as soon as possible.
Yeah, they always prioritize Squadron 42 stuff.
Yeah,
for that very reason. They know they need to get that out done and dusted.
So I think Chris Roberts knows your concerns. I think he's working very hard to make sure they get Squadron 42 out.
I think it's just not. I think I'm just the voice of, honestly, the majority of the old school backers and the majority of most of the backers now.
I think Chris knows who you are.
Yeah, he knows. He's sat right there. Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy?
He's right over there. Yeah, he's holding my. To my.
I may have said some things.
It's got a balaclava, but it's like, Chris. I know it's you,
mate. I can tell. You wear a balaclava pretty much all black anyway. I can tell from you. You got two. He's got two. He's got two watches giving it away. It's like, I know it's you, pal. I can tell.
Oh my god.
But.
Quiz 2 watches Roberts.
I think someone's saying in chat, I think the latest it will be a Citizencon special release 2020. I think we'll know this year. In my head, if they go for a Citizencon in the UK, I think it would be a missed opportunity for them not to use that to launch Squadron 42. I think they could still justify having it in LA the following year, because you could still do a big launch. You could get Mark Hamill. You could bring in a lot of the movie stars. You could have it on the Boulevard. They might be still... Yeah, they might be still be making an LA could be the big place. Then maybe they want to do Squadron 42 as a big release. It would make sense as well as having it in the UK in my head. So if they say we're doing a UK one this year, my hopes will be high for a Squadron 42 release, but it doesn't guarantee it. And I think they would be still able to more than comfortably do an LA release finished the following 2020 Citizencon October time would be the latest. If it's not released by then, there's no legs, for my opinion, for CIG to stand on for a Squadron 42 game. I'd be like, what the fuck is taken? And all hell will be broken loose upon them. Because it's like, come on, it's a single player. So that's my prediction for the Squadron 42. For the MMO, they could take forever. That'll be forever. That'll be an ongoing forever.
Oh, the MMO's going to be a long time, I guarantee.
That'll be forever.
Chris Roberts is always going to be polishing that shit.
That's like...
As long as Chris Roberts can sell concept sales and other bullshits to keep the development going, the lights on, he's going to be polishing and developing for as long as he can get away with.
Right.
I guarantee it.
Right. Okay, we're going to do quick questions. We're going to save the monthly report for next week. So we've got to say stuff. We will be here forever if we carry on going through everything. We're already over the time that I allocated anyway. So we'll just do these few questions and then we shall do it. So if anyone wants to throw some questions in now, you can. You want to get literally 3 minutes to throw some questions in, because we've got a couple to go through. I want to quick fire it and then we're done, because I wanted to do ATV as well, because there was the Ice Planet concept and the Walla stuff and the other thing, but we just ran out of time, so we'll have to do that maybe next week. We'll just show off the ATV. To be honest, I want to kind of almost bunch the ATVs nowadays into a month, do like a month podcast where we do a podcast where we'll talk about the ATV rather than doing them every week, because it's such a small amount of content. I think it'd be better if we just save it all up and we'll do a more monthly thing.
I find it funny that sometimes the Calling All Devs episodes are longer than the ATVs.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. but you always skip on calling on devs.
I know.
Yeah. So I think that's what we're probably
I
going
like
to do.
Jared. I think he does a good job. It's just sometimes we're not.
He does.
Yeah, I'm not here for that, Jared. I just want to get to the question. Sorry.
Yeah,
sometimes though, I like it when he badgers them to say, "So, have we got a date? Do we know? Tell me more." He does a good job with that.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the taxi in the UK when they got the email about Chris Roberts for the paywall thing. I would love to be a fly on the wall.
Fly on the wall. Why don't you just be the person in the room?
Because the fly on the wall is more pervy. It's fine.
It's you're more innocuous. You're less. You're less.
They don't need to know I'm
covert.
There. It's stealth. But I know what you're saying.
That's cool. I'm all right being a fly. It's fine. You carry on.
So
the joke, folks who don't know about flies, is they vomit on their food and then suck it up.
I only knew that. I learned that from the movie from the Fly. I didn't know that in real life until I saw The Fly, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's gross."
The scientist Jeff Goldblum.
Scarred for life. Scarred for life as a child watching that film. I tell you, my dad was like, "Oh yeah, it's The Fly. It's great. You should watch it. It's a great movie." Age 12.
My mum tried flicking between the channels as that guy was getting crushed by the lift, and she flicked away, flicked back again at the right time. It went, and since then she's allowed me to watch any film. And I think I was about, if you were 12, I must have been about 10, something like that.
I was about 12, and I remember just like, no way. I remember it was like, at that moment, and it was like my mum was like looking at my old man, was like. You can see like her kind of face was like, my son should not be seeing these things. He's gonna have nightmares. You can see my dad was like getting like about to get twatted on the head by like a kind of a thing, because obviously my dad knew what was coming, but my mum obviously didn't know either, and so he knew it was coming. I think he just wanted to see my reaction. Like he knew that he obviously didn't. You know what dads are like, right? Oh, I'm going to be the same with my kid. I feel like I know what's coming. Nightmares forever. Terrible bad parenting. Don't follow my example.
Scottish parents, everybody.
Terrible example.
Terrible example.
Okay, so the question is, we have from Mr. Squarepeg. He says, with the road release presentation, do you think there will be talk about the mod tool stretch goal? Hang on a second. With the road to release presentation, do you think they will talk about the mod tool stretch goal?
Is that the modularity? Do you mean ship modularity?
No, I think they're talking about the fan mods, be able to modify the game.
No, because he's talking about.
It's way too early for that. It's way too early for that.
The stretch goals. So the stretch goals. The last stretch goal, the 65,000 or something, was ship modularity.
I don't know them all off by heart, unfortunately.
Enhanced ship modularity, $65.
If you know what they are.
If that's what you mean, they're already doing that. The ships are modular, as they're like the Caterpillar is going to have modules. Are you saying, will they talk more about having different modules for different ships, like maybe having a medic module or an
they've kind of pulled back on the modules, and I think ships will just fit the roles you want them to do. So if you want to do something different, you have to buy the different ship.
Sorry, you were right. Yeah, the mod, as in the modding tool. They haven't spoken about that. That's something that will likely come once the game is finished. Allowing players to mod their own things. Now, if it comes to the actual PU, if you mod something for the PU, if you want it in the PU, that'll have to be subjected to official scanning to see if it's law-friendly, legitimate to the game itself, and not giving any sort of wins somewhere, which is going to be quite difficult to get through. Having private servers that you can run the game on that won't affect the main PU economy and server.
Yeah,
potentially yes, but that's not until way off down the line, mate.
Yeah,
a long way off.
I was going to say I think it will happen, but I think we've got a long way to go before we get there. I don't think they'll talk about it this time. I don't think they'll talk about it probably next time either. I think they might talk about it in like 3 Citizencons after Squadron 42 is actually out. Then maybe we might start talking about that type of thing. Maybe you get it on an ATV, they might bring it up, but I think there's so much other work to be done. I do hear what you're saying though, like it's a 4 million stretch goal, so it's quite down the list of things you'd like to think it would be a priority, but I don't think it works like that. I don't think it goes down like on the priority list, because if you think about it, there's a lot of ships that should be a priority that are not, that were old ships that haven't been made yet, so it doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. I wish it did. Yeah. We'd all have Carracks by now. Yay, Carrack.
Yeah, that's why they stopped the stretch goals. They were like, oh shit, we're promising.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Shuckley asks, a little bit madness. He says, "What are you most excited for 3.3 and on Citizencon?" Well, I've kind of said a few things, but I said I think the most excited thing I would want is the ability to buy ships. I really want to see a video demonstration of gameplay mechanics that shows somebody buying ships, because like I said, that for me will confirm that CIG are dead serious about setting in this year us the ability to buy ships. Whether that's renting ships, getting shit. I just want new backers to be able to get those, get rid of this paywall, like having a prospector or having a mining ship. They can get in, they can earn a game, they can earn a shipping game, they can start off with an Aurora, they can then rent themselves a Cutlass, they can then get themselves more money, then they can rent themselves a prospector, and then they can have the experience that they deserve as a backer of the early development. That's what I want. That's what I'm most excited about. Gameplay and buying ships. And obviously the flight mechanic, obviously the new flight experience and stuff. But I trust I trust that will happen. That will be. I don't even need to see it. I just trust it. I'm going to give them the benefit of my trust. I know it's probably misplaced, but I'm going to give them the trust and
try trusting them.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it for a year.
Again,
I give them enough. I'm going to say, because there's so much tech and 3.0, the item 2.0 system broke the spine of combat and flight. And obviously we lost the person who did IFCS, he's left, and I think they just need to get their head around it. They need to sit down. I think they need to spend some good time on it as a team. There's obviously a lot of other things that still probably clearly need to come in, object contain, OCS and bind culling, which I think will help in performance. So once we get these mechs in, then we'll say, okay, let's go back at this flight model. Let's get it right. Let's get it fixed with all this stuff. But they do need to get it done within the year.
John Pritchett was the fault.
Yeah.
Blame Pritchett. Like I said, I'm going to give him the end of the year. But I'm most looking forward to Hearthstone in-game ship purchasing, opening up Stanton, essentially just making progress towards release, which is essentially building out Stanton, the next jump point, the next jump point, the next jump point, adding more stuff, completing more tech.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm talking about wiping ships, because there's the thing in chat. They were just saying about wiping ships, and Matt, you said it as well. It's like, should they wipe every patch, or should they wipe? I mean, I think they'll wipe every patch. I just think that's the way it will be. But could they? Do you think they could implement a system where it doesn't get wiped every patch? It just gets wiped after a chunk of time. Patch. Yeah, you can rent it. You can rent it for a huge chunk of time, like months, and it becomes more of a permanent feature in your inventory. That's what they had before with the rec system, because it was separate to the game, as it were, wasn't it?
It was real life time, wasn't it? So
they could keep it separate.
Or was it as you played? It
was as you play. If you played 1 minute, or you played 40 minutes, or an hour, or 2 hours.
How the rec system worked was, every time you clicked on that Arena Commander button, it would start to count down on a 24-hour chunk of your 7 days. And then once that 24-hour timer ran out, and then you click the Arena Commander button after that timer, you'd start another chunk of 24 hours. So it just keep counting down. And then I think there was I can't remember if there was a hard timer to the rental one, or if you keep it perpetually if you didn't bother clicking on Arena Commander. I can't remember, but that was essentially how it worked. So I figured it'll be like, you'll rent it, every time you click on the PU, you'll start another chunk counting down, maybe.
Yeah, I would. Oh, well, they said like real time is how it's going to work, but I think it should, perfectly, it would be having it as you use it. So if you're not playing, let's say you go on holiday or you have a baby, you're not going to have time to play the game. So having a real time counter isn't going to benefit anyone. But it's a good start, and it's like most things, they'll try a method and then
make adjustments
and make adjustments and balance it and stuff. Yeah.
Well, it depends if it, because they are guilty. I mean, I'm going to say CIG are very guilty of, if it kind of works, they can leave it. They can leave it.
Madness out, aren't we?
Come on, Madness. Next question.
They can leave it. They can leave it. They can leave it for a while. Right. Next question. Next question. Yeah. We've got a couple
positive, low sodium, low sodium podcast. Low sodium.
Yeah. This is really low. I have to say, we've been pretty freaking low on this show.
Yep.
This is the lowest I think it's ever been. Right. Okay. Squarepeg asks again. He says, with the roadmap. Oh no, I've already got that one. Sorry. Next question. Number 12. Everyone, this is from Mike Godwin. He asks, how long in minutes after face over IP is introduced that someone makes a character that does a live reading of Mein Kampf in Star Citizen?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I would probably say, depending on having seen HNN's Discord channel, it will probably be very quick. No, I don't know. I don't know if we've got it, but I'm sure we have.
Quickly. Like, you'd be surprised. VoIP stuff goes downhill pretty fucking quickly.
I think you'd have to be, honestly, if you do that, you're a moron. Simply for this reason is, one, it's a very expensive game. You've spent a lot of money on it, probably, even if it's $60 for the game package or whatever. To go out and do something that foolish when they probably record all the information and then get banned from the game permanently just seems like an incredibly stupid thing to do. I just don't see the benefit of it. Unless you're loaded and you just want to do that, then obviously we can't stop you, but
we can stop you eventually.
Yeah, I would say thank you for supporting the game, and goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah, thank you for your money. Now get the hell out. Move on.
That's pretty much it. Next question. But yeah, there'll be probably lots of people doing lots of stupid things. Just don't do it, is what I say. Make it funny. If you do it funny and just jovially and a bit of a laugh, not Mein Kampf, but generally or something else, it would be fun. Next question is from Kinren. He said, oh, by the way, we've stopped. No more questions. If anyone wants any questions, put it in brackets quickly. But I think we're on the last ones here. This is from Kinren. He says, do you think Chris may get Mark Hamill to appear at Citizencon? I think Mark will appear when the game Squadron 42 is released. Unless he's releasing Squadron 42 at Citizencon, then he will be there. That's the way I look at it.
I would like to think they'd invite them, as many as they can, and if they want to go, they can. But yeah,
there may have been something in their contract about like pre-release like marketing material, so they show up for like a live demo to answer questions and talk about it like during the release party or something.
Yeah, that advertising would be phenomenal for Squadron 42, especially with how Star Citizen is bringing him back for Luke Skywalker and stuff. He used to be an old school hero. Now he is old school and
hologram.
No. For episode 9, they're going to bring him back as a Force ghost. They're going to
do a hologram. They do Tupac Shakur hologram style.
Yeah,
the charges. I literally I can feel the venom just closing in on my body right now as I'm trying not to say this, but I'm like, I could. No, I'm not going to move on. Let's move on. I could literally want to say something incredibly salty, just about money and how the fact that he said that he reduced costs for the show. That was it. He probably made sure that like Mark Hamill or some of these people that want their money didn't turn up. That was all it was. It was a celebrity that was making an appearance, like Kanye or something. Kim Kardashian was making an appearance. Right, Kanye and Kim were. That was what the extra 500K was supposed to be paid for. Agent Jax, Agent 12370. He says,
I heard that as well.
Which ship will be revealed at Citizencon? And this is a good one to end it on. I am going to say the Kraken will be the one.
I say Kraken too. It's too much. It's too much of a meme in the community. Like the Carrack, they're gonna bake it. They're gonna make it. They're gonna sell it. It's a whale hunter. That ship is designed to bring in the whales.
Yeah. Okay, and then a small ship. What guys do you think we would get a small ship?
Probably the Corsair would be my guess, or maybe another E-War ship.
Well, the Corsair is already the Mercury, so we've already got that. So what else? Yeah. What else do you think? Another manufacturer. Another manufacturer. Another alien ship.
Alien ship.
Be nice.
Okay. Because I think they'll want to at this event. I think the best thing to do in order to get the most amount of money is to do the entry level, more affordable ship. You could maybe do. I could do 3. I would say you could potentially do 3. You could do the big, fat, juicy alien Carrack. You could do like a fun middle ship, and then they could do a nice entry level ship. So I wouldn't mind seeing another land-based vehicle. A wheeled motorbike would be my preference, but that's just me. Or if it was another land-based vehicle, a land-based mining or industrial type of vehicle. Like that would be, or a fuel running.
What about a land vehicle that is used to navigate your way through Lawville?
Or like
a taxi?
A taxi?
Like
a tuk-tuk. A Lorville tuk-tuk.
A Lorville tuk-tuk.
And you gotta tap the buttons to get the speed going.
You're thinking of
how about,
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
How about
they
like
have
a rickshaw? How about a rickshaw?
They've got that in Beyond Good and Evil 2. That's literally how the thing starts. They've got like the tuk-tuk type of vehicle. That's another game.
You gotta press like W and S. Get the speed going as you drag them through the city.
Yeah, like those old NES games, the where you had to press A and B to run.
Yeah,
or it has to be like, no, Chris Roberts would aim higher. It'd be like a QWOP, where you had, one button controls your right calf, the other one controls your left calf.
Or the Omni thing where you got to stand on it and fucking...
Yeah.
All right. So that's the final question, guys, and that's going to be the end of the podcast. So thank you, everybody. I hope everyone had a good evening. It's been fantastic to be back again. We'll be back again next Monday. This time, he's telling the truth. We'll be back again this time next week. Mac obviously won't be joining us because it was shit. But I think HC will be joining us. I don't know where Miz is. I'm hoping Miz doesn't get trampled by a hippopotamus out there in South Africa. Okay. They are deadly, I hear. So hopefully, I'm not sure actually
when. Not a great loss if he didn't make it back.
It's not a great loss. We'll keep going. we'll keep going, but hopefully he will be back and good. Obviously, you can catch these guys. Are you guys streaming tomorrow?
I'm streaming tonight.
You're streaming tonight. HC's streaming tonight. Mac,
Battlefield
are you streaming?
5, in fact.
Streaming tomorrow?
Ooh. I'll be on Wednesday.
Okay, cool. Just a note on the podcast. Things may change in terms of what we do on the Asylum podcast. In terms of, we may not always do the podcast as a Star Citizen podcast. I'm just throwing it out there. I know people say, "Oh my god, that's terrible." We may not. We may play games. We may have people come on and we'll do a big group thing where we'll play games. We may do things where we'll talk about other games, because at the moment it all depends on how much content CIG provides us to be able to talk about. I don't want the show to be a regurgitation of the same bullshit over and over again. I want to talk about fresh stuff. If there's nothing fresh, we'll do other things and have fun.
We're always fresh.
I know. I'm hoping. I do my best, but it's becoming harder and harder to dig out content that doesn't resolve in me turning into Venom, is the honest truth, because the people that are generally posting lots of information are always mostly the salt givers, and it's getting harder and harder to dig past them and to find good content. So I don't want to go down that road. But we will do other things. We'll maybe play games. Who knows? But I'm hoping 3.3 is really close. Evocati, I'm sure. Is Evocati have had their letters, I think, already, in terms of they've increased the number of people to Evocati?
I've seen I've gotten mine. I'm not signing up for Evocati. I'm concierge. I'll have access to the PTU, and I don't need to pay them $10 anymore to have access to the PTU. And then I can talk about everything. I can talk about the leaks from the Evocati when they eventually come out and start leaking stuff on Reddit and Twitter and all these other places. I don't have to worry about the NDA, so it's a win-win for me.
Yeah, so we might try some things anyway, is what I'm saying. We might not.
Scum and just shit everywhere.
Yeah, we shit on everything. It's all about time. The honest truth is, I say a lot of this shit because I kind of want it to happen. I want to do other things as well, but I have no time, so it will probably not happen, and we'll just carry on as always. But we'll see. I like to prepare people just in case.
We played Star Citizen 1 for the podcast, didn't we?
We did, and I enjoyed it. We played it. We landed. I think that was the thing. Who here? Obviously the Redacted guys do like a live stream Redacted type of show. I never do one. I've never done one for the Asylum. I could set up something for the Asylum and we do a live party watch and people could come and watch us. The only problem I have with that is because there's so many other people doing it within the streaming world. I kind of feel like it would be, I don't know, kind of strange to do that. But if people wanted to watch us watch Citizencon or whatever they can do, I think there might be. I would rather do a live Bar Citizen from London and have people come down in person, and we'll do like a IRL stream of it, of us watching and talking about it, or maybe the hype beforehand and then we all watch it in other people's streams. I'm not sure. I'm still thinking about what is the best way to view Citizencon as part of the show. Why don't you
have an IRL in London and then watch the Redacted stream?
Yeah, we could watch that, and then we could watch you guys. Well, that's what I normally do. I normally watch the Redacted one because I enjoy the Redacted one, and that way everyone gets together in one place on stream. It's really fun then. I'm not, and then we can do the IRL bit beforehand in London. I'm not sure. We'll see. There's lots of ideas. We'll be watching. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone as well. That's the thing, is I can't wait to see you guys. You can, like, you know, we'll have to see if we can get some I've got some t-shirts. I have to see if I can get someone to take out some t-shirts to people for Citizencon or something to wear. That'll be fun.
Represent.
Yeah, because I think Moist was going to, but he betrayed us and went off to Space Bros. So, yeah. I'm only joking.
Cunt.
Love you, Moist. Wanker. Yeah, Tourette syndrome. Fucking wanker. Shit. Bastard. So, but he said he'd still take them for me. So I think I'll maybe see if I can get him to. But the problem is you don't know. Because, like, if he's still like Space Bros, could be portray. You know, you never know. He could put it on some weirdos. You know.
Put it on some weirdos.
Yeah, like CIG devs.
Is that like pantyhose? Like weird hose? Weird hose?
He could give it to the devs. We don't want people associating ourselves with the developers at CIG, do we? Let's be honest.
This isn't the captain's table
This
where
is not the
we
captain's table.
pretend. Yeah, this is where we pretend to be CIG developers. No, we're more sensible than that.
No, exactly. Brilliant. Anyway, take care, everybody. 07s. Do we have anyone to raid? Shall we just raid somebody?
Someone.
Let's do a raid. We'll do a raid this week.
Let's see
who have we got?
Star Citizen guy.
Who have we got?
Fuse on Nerd Show and Tell.
Nerd Show and Tell. Oh, he doesn't need anybody. We'll throw everyone over to the few this week. I was talking about Space Bros. As I was talking about Space Bros, I should probably make up for it. So we shall do that. We shall send everybody over to the few. Thank you, everyone.
New York, can't you, Vertigo?
Huh? What? Huh? Word questions?
New York?
No, I'm in Seattle. Opposite side of the country. I'm in the left coast.
The left coast.
Yeah. Very liberal out here in Seattle. We like we have legit communists out here. We have a bronze statue of Lenin.
Yeah, could you imagine? Could you imagine Chris Robertson in an Asylum t-shirt? That would be. I would love that. It would instantaneously make our show.
Hi, Chris.
20 people would watch our shows. All the salt people would be like, "Man, this is sold out, sold out."
Yeah, sold out.
I would have to put on the back of it, "Kick me," though, if that was possible. We could just print it on the back. Oh, all fantastic.
All right.
I think hopefully that bit got missed on the move over. Good shit.
Probably not.
Probably not. Let me end the podcast and then wait for my expert.
Man, time just flies.
It flies, dude.